1080 Sports Station. Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a full slate of playoff action tonight in the NBA. A doubleheader. You have the Knicks taking on the Pistons. Knicks already with a 1-0 series lead. The Pistons tonight are 7-point dogs on the road. Then later in the evening, you get the Lakers and T-Wolves once again. On the ice, plenty of action as well. The Montreal Canadiens and the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals are the first to drop the puck tonight. They get the things started just before 4 o'clock. Then at 4:30, it's the Blues and the Jets, a battle of good goaltenders in that one. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Let's see who summons the essence of Titletown or is curled up in a fetal position.
With the first pick, the Oakland Raiders select quarterback Jamarcus Russell, LSU.
This is Primetime on Draft Week.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080.
Jamarcus Russell's going to immediately energize that Raider Nation.
The Fan.
Hey, what it do?
Ahoy, friends.
Did you hear that, Jamarcus Russell?
I did hear that. Just energizing Raider.
Who was that?
Raider. I think that was Mel Kiper, was it not?
Yeah, it's Mel Kiper Jr.
Wow.
That's great when you go back and you hear people that loved Jamarcus Russell. Draft experts. They're the best.
Yeah, that's the best part of draft coverage is going back and listening to how wildly wrong people were.
Yeah. I mean, look, anytime you do that, I'm not a draft expert, but I would say I'm a draft like nudnik. I pay attention and I try, but for every one that you nail, you look like an ass clown on another one. It's just that some of these dudes that claim to really be experts, they act like they're certain. And I've never, ever said, well, maybe once or twice, that you're certain on something.
Jake Locker.
Yeah, Jake Locker. That was one that I feel very good about him. I was like, there is zero chance that Jake Locker is going to be any good.
And you were right.
I was right.
Want to know.
But, and then there's others. Like, I wasn't
record.
a big Justin Herbert guy. Justin Herbert turned out to be really good. Maybe not what some people thought, but
oh, yeah,
very,
1
very
and
good.
1.
1 and 1.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's easier for me with people that in the Pac-12 are now, I guess, the Big Ten, because I see those people, year after year after year. Because with the draft, I try to pay attention, with tight end class. So I'll try to pay attention to Ty Warren and Loveland and some of these guys. But when it's a Duck or a Beav or a Cougar, when you played in the old Pac-12, I saw the vast majority of those guys, and so I can give you a little better opinion on that.
Yeah, just like you saw Justin Herbert all those years.
I stand by that. You watch that. I guess that's just if you want to know how bad Mario Cristobal's coach effect is, go watch Justin Herbert in college. Because the only man that could keep Justin Herbert down was Mario Cristobal and that crappy-ass offense.
Well, he's about to put the Heisman – well, I guess Cam Ward didn't win the Heisman, huh?
No, he did not.
But we just rolled, brother.
About to have the number 1 pick in the draft, quarterback.
Yep. Yeah, he finally got an offensive coordinator and then decided to, for once, take his hands off of it.
I think – you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start blowing up draft coverage this week with hot takes like Mario Cristobal's the quarterback guru.
The quarterback whisperer.
Be as right as half of you guys about your picks. Get out of here with that. By the way, big week.
It is big week.
Big week because the NFL draft is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Nemec's going to be coming in here for a little bit.
You want to talk about a draft nerd? I give you that guy.
No, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have him. So he's going to come in on Thursday. But even bigger this week is that you are going to Italy.
Yeah. More importantly.
To Italy.
Look, is it a coincidence that
leaving tonight?
That the Pope has died.
I have to drive him to Italy.
They're going to pick a new Pope while you're there.
Well, I think I'm going to be a part of it at this point.
Your hat's in the ring.
I feel like who better to select a new Pope or at least be considered for position of Pope than me? I mean, I want to be in the room where it happened. I mean, I'm basically
so timely.
I'm Alexander Hamilton at this point. Yes, shall be in Rome. I feel like I will see the dead Pope be hauled around. I'm gonna see his little feetsies. Figure at some point I should ask, where's the dead old guy?
Yeah,
I
I
got
got
something's on. Let's go chop chop.
Dusty and Suk were fighting already as we were transitioning into our show from their show. And Dusty is claiming that there is no chance you will see the Pope's body.
They parade him around.
Dude, do you know how many people are going to be down there?
Yeah, me.
You might be one of 8 gajillion. And I'm with Dusty. There is no way you get close enough. You do not have the passion of 90% of the people there to see the Pope's little dead body.
I'm going to see I came to see a Pope.
There is no chance.
Alive or dead,
No
I will
chance.
see.
Well, he's dead. You're not going to see him alive.
Well, they may name a new one. I don't know how long that takes.
Oh, so now you're moving the goalposts
Look,
here.
I will see a
No,
Pope.
you said that you were going to see the Pope's cold little bloated body.
I said his little feetsies.
Oh, dear.
Remember when they hauled the other one around? It was so weird. They put him like on a platform.
That's
and then
what they do, yeah.
And then they just parade him around and his little feet are out there. And I'm gonna look, what are the chances in my life that I'm ever going to see a dead Pope again? I'm sorry, I'm going to see the dead Pope.
I don't think you are.
No.
But I think you're going to try.
I'm going to try.
That's going to be cute. You're going to take one look at the line or the number of people there, and you'd be like, let's go
You're
get a
going to
drink.
look at the fact that it's going to eat up 1, possibly 2 days
Yes.
of your trip to Italy and say, to hell with that, I'm going to go down to the coast.
They're already telling people, please don't come. Because it was the Jubilee. So there's this mass pilgrimage anyways, and Easter.
Oh, come on.
And now the Pope is dead. So they're telling people, like, travel advisory, don't come. Well, guess what? Too late. I'm coming. And I came to see a Pope. Alive or dead, I came to see one. I'm seeing the dead Pope.
I wonder if, and I'm being dead serious here,
Yeah.
I wonder if even you're going to be able to get into the Vatican.
It's possible, no.
Because it's already a zoo.
Yeah.
And because I've been there and it's wild. Like there are a ton of people there, and it had nothing to do with Easter or the death of the Pope. No. I can't imagine what it's like Mardi Gras times a billion.
Yeah.
And they don't really flash their boobs.
No, it's a little disappointing.
But
you think that you would?
You could start that trend.
Yeah. I can flash him, although he's dead.
I'm gonna show you my boobs.
Maybe a cardinal, although I'm not certain that I'm what the Cardinals
it's like
are looking for.
pouring one out for the Cardinals. Take off your shirt and throw me. Cardinal Sucanic. You think you got a shot at the papacy? Take off your shorts and dunk me.
I don't know. Like, can I just nominate myself? Like, how's all that work? I don't know.
Well, they blow the smoke. Remember?
Yeah, can I get in there and just like a write-in sort of thing? Like,
I gotta tell you, here's another thing about the Vatican. You're probably not gonna see it anyway, so I'll just spoil it for you.
Yeah.
You don't see a whole lot of it.
No.
They parade you through the parts they want you to see, and you can't even get a glimpse of the cool parts.
Is this like when I went to Graceland and then jumped the barrier and tried to find Elvis's toilet? Same sort of thing?
Yeah, you aren't jumping any barriers there, fella.
I just think it's like literally the day before I head to Rome, the Pope dies.
Dude.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
What a zoo.
Yeah.
And you guys are flying into Rome?
Yeah, flying into Rome.
You might want to just get out of there. And Rome's great, but
yeah.
Not with that going on.
Not with that.
I can't comprehend I've seen some S shows in my day. Like I was in Tokyo when they were doing their equivalent of 4th of July, and I went to a fireworks show with 1 million people. But that was very orderly, but still like the massive humanity of 1 million people on like heading to one location. I'm guessing that is going to be child's play.
I'm trying to think if we even have something in this country that rivals that. Like that people would flock like that in droves to that one thing. I mean, I feel like in England you have either like a royal wedding and or a death of royalty, but
we don't.
Do we have anything like that here?
Well, we got the Mormon bishops.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
aren't they all like 100 years old, you said?
Yeah, dude, they're like, I didn't know this. Well, I guess I should have known.
Do millions line the streets for them?
No.
Like I thought one of them had died. I thought I saw something, so I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, that guy's alive, and he's the president of the church." And then he's like 1,000 years old, and then like the 3 guys right behind him are also 1,000 years old.
Well, the Dalai Lama's 90.
Yeah,
so it's kind of part and parcel for all the.
My guess would be like if we had a president, like
all the religious institutions.
If a president got assassinated, we would have but it wouldn't be this.
I don't think it's. The same.
There would be a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have.
The president
anything.
got shot last year.
Yeah, and
no one even talks about it.
It's good.
Or did he?
Or did he?
We don't have anything that equates to
No,
this.
nothing close.
I will say, I at least want to see the massive humanity. I'm not going to see the dead Pope, but I would like to stand outside and just see the waves of human beings and
Well, you'll see it.
the emotional and people are going to be losing their S.
Oh yeah,
You know,
sad day. Pope Francis.
yeah, the cool Pope, right? Wasn't he the cool
people's?
Pope?
Yeah, he was the people's Pope.
Hmm.
By the way, killed by J.D. Vance. They're already saying.
Yeah, how about that?
Just went and shook his hand and
Yeah, and then
dropped dead.
Well, I thought it was like a joke because I saw that he was sick and then he was at the little parade thing and then I woke up this morning and I was like Antichrist was trending and I was like, whoa. And I was like, oh, Pope died.
Yeah, but he was 88.
Yeah.
He had been sick.
Yeah. Someone said my wife and I were had our honeymoon in Scotland and 2 days before we left, the Queen died. Almost everything was closed and all around. Yeah, I could see that. But we don't have that. We don't have queen. We don't queens, kings, popes.
When we were in London, George Michael died.
That
It was a big thing, yeah.
is that
Very
the same
big.
sort of thing.
No, but it was a big deal. I'm telling you, he was a big deal over there.
Someone's asking, can I bet on I know it's illegal in the U.S., but can you bet overseas? Can you bet on a new pope?
Oh, believe me, the
Buckley, you got a
the
little
Pope's
juice?
body is still warm, and Buck already wants to bet on the next guy. He sent me a note earlier today.
I didn't say I wanted to. I asked if we should.
And the answer is no. Like, don't you have how would you?
No.
How do you know?
There's always an angle, man.
What's the angle?
I don't
love
know.
this.
We have to find it. Or someone has to find it. Someone has one.
Buck, I'll tell
Poly
you this.
market's good for the sort of thing.
All right. I admit I'm not going to be able to see the dead pope because that massive humanity. Although if they announce the parade of the dead pope, I am going to at least show up at the back and see the massive humanity and then look at it and be like, yeah, I'm going home. But I will, given the opportunity, for one Ryan Buck. You tell me who you want, Buck, and I got a sawbuck. My own. I'm putting down a tenner on my own on whoever Buck thinks is the new pope, and we're placing that wager.
He will have an angle.
Give
I
it to me.
just Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what it is.
Poly market right now has the next pope is Pietro Parolin, 36%.
Is he
Why?
1,000 years old too?
I mean, why? I don't know.
Why-
That's what people are
that's the
betting.
whole- But Biden was favored for a long time.
Yeah.
But
And
so
he lost.
But poly
didn't
market
even run.
is based on where the money is actually coming in and not based on people setting the odds.
So everybody's betting on that guy.
So the 36% of the money is on him right now.
By the way, people are saying there's 9 days of mourning, so I will be there when they name a new pope.
Well, there's 9 days of mourning, but then don't they also have to? Isn't that when the
Yeah.
decision,
Yeah.
the conclave
Yeah.
begins or whatever?
I would like to know what goes on in that conclave. Like what sort of deals are being brokered. So I'm guessing that's a pretty coveted position to be, I don't know, pope.
They were interviewing one of the cardinals this morning.
Mhm.
With his little red
Yeah.
hat on.
Yeah.
And I was thoroughly disappointed because he spoke perfect English.
I think most of them do speak English, right? I mean,
Perfect
I think
English.
I think there's a requirement that they speak a certain number of. That
Well,
you have to speak Latin, Italian,
yeah.
English.
But it was like he was American.
I
Like he
see.
was not like this Pope was Argentinian, I think.
yes, I believe so.
Yeah. This guy was like from Florida.
Well, I mean,
And I was like, kind of loses a little bit of its.
wouldn't it be something if it was Steve Johnson from like Bakersfield as the new
Well,
pope? You're
that's
like,
what it-
You're like Steve.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, I grew up with him.
hey,
He's the Pope.
boy, you want to talk about a mind f? If like one of your buddies, like one of your frat bros, you're like, no, you turn out you're the pope. Like you just show up one day and like Ryan Buckley, Turkish bathhouse Buckley is now the new pope.
I've DM'd you both a graphic breakdown of the different I guess characteristics of each candidate, so we can chew on that.
Buck really wants an angle on this.
Well, I'm gonna go with this because the last pope, a lot of people didn't like because he was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
loving and
yeah,
like
he actually cared about
he
people.
cared about people.
Do you think that it's going to swing back the other way?
Yeah. I think we're going. So whatever the most hard ass,
More conservative guy?
more conservative cardinal, pick that guy. I think we're going.
I don't think that's a bad bet.
I think we're going the other way because a lot of people didn't like that this pope was like loving and like.
So there's 5 of those
He
on
was
this
so
list.
woke.
Yeah, we had the woke. No,
The
dude,
woke
this,
pope.
This is going to be the. Is there a Mussolini candidate? Who's that guy? Where's the Joseph Stalin of popes? Go with that guy.
Well, the real bet is Nick Castellanos to hit a home run today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some of the books locked that prop.
Yeah, you can't even bet it. It's too popular.
feel bad that we're like all, hey, a man is dead. For God's sakes, the man of
I
God.
know, but he was 88.
The bread of God is bread. Oh, go Pope Francis, right?
Francois.
Although, like, if he really believe in that, then he's doing great, right? Like,
Better than he was yesterday.
yeah, he's up doing, I don't know what the Pope does when he dies. I don't know what the Pope did when he was alive, but I'm assuming, like, cool stuff. He gets, he's up there in a cloud or, doing Pope things. He's got his cool big hat on.
All right. Well, we have to recap the Jeff going away party from Friday.
Got a lot to get to.
The tyrant has been ousted.
It's about time. Ding
God.
dong.
And then we'll get some NBA playoffs. And I know there was one other thing I wanted to tell you you're going to miss. So you're missing the NFL draft.
I know.
You know what else you're
First
missing?
one I've ever missed, by the way.
You are missing Dan Lanning on our show.
Oh, for God's sake.
Dan Lanning, triumphant return Wednesday.
Sorry, the Pope needed me. They need me. There's things bigger than this. I need to go help out in the absence of the Pope. Someone's got to take up the slack, and damn it, it's me.
Well, we'll follow your Twitter for timely posts about
I will be
Pope.
the 1080 The Fan correspondent, live on scene as we name a new Pope.
Put in a good word for fan personality Dusty Hera to be the new Pope.
You got it.
I think he would make the best Pope.
I'll throw up a couple prayers. I've done it before. I just got to find out which way does the cross go, left, right, or right, left?
Let's see.
Up, down, right? Up, down, and then which way do I go?
I don't
I
know.
think you start at the top, then go down, and then go across.
Yeah, but
I know, but which way?
left, right, right, left.
I don't know.
Well,
Shouldn't you know this?
if I'm going to be
No, I'm not
Pope, I
Catholic.
need to know these things.
Well, you're not going to be Pope. Dusty's going to be Pope.
Oh,
You're
okay.
delivering the message of an
yeah.
American radio host
Yeah.
by the name of Dusty,
Dusty
Hera,
Hera.
who's not really on your radar, but
Yeah,
should be.
Should be. He's an ordained minister, so he's got experience. He's married someone.
Well, I was thinking about all the fan personalities today and which one would make the best Pope,
Yeah.
and it's clearly Dusty
I would think so.
because he does have a slight religious
Yeah.
background,
Yeah,
I think,
he seems like a sweet guy.
and he's just cares for all,
I like it.
not too high, not too low.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's do it.
I think he's our next Pope.
Yeah.
On the Fan.
Break.
We'll be right back. Sports.
The home of dirt. on 1080 The Fan.
Well, it's uncomfortable, but Buck already has his angle for the next Pope that he's
Well,
going
you
to
found
place.
the angle.
Well, I didn't. Suk did.
You guys.
But I think he's got a point.
Dude, they're not going to elect another left-leaning woke snowflake pope. It's not happening. This is swinging back the other way.
But okay, let's talk about the uncomfortable part. It seems to be a two-man race.
Yes.
And one of the guys is black.
Yes.
And
well,
you are
he's
saying
Asian. He's Asian.
Yeah, he's
I
Filipino.
thought you said he was
think.
black.
Well, there is a black guy. He's from Ghana, but he's the long shot. The guy from Ghana is not winning.
Yeah, Peter Turkson
Oh.
is the long shot.
Okay.
From Ghana.
He's the guy
black.
from Ghana. And
I misunderstood.
No offense, but we already had the one liberal pope. They're not ready for the black guy.
But it is a two-horse race between a white guy and a non-white guy.
Yeah. So they've got the guy from the Philippines, Asian, who's he is supportive of LGBT rights.
Okay.
And he's left-leaning.
Okay.
And that's the guy. That's the Filipino guy.
Okay.
And then the other dude.
What's his name? What
Peter.
are his...
What was
Pietro Parolin is.
he's the favorite.
Yes.
He's the favorite.
He's from Italy.
That's the Filipino guy?
No, Luis Antonio Tagli.
Oh my God.
They're
you
basically
guys could not
even.
be any more confusing. What is the name of the Filipino guy?
Luis Antonio Tagli.
And
Yes.
what are his odds?
His odds are even to plus 125, depending on where you get it.
Oh, wow.
Same with the other guy. They're the two of them.
Those two guys.
And then it goes to plus 500.
Okay. Yeah. So the other guy you said.
He's right leaning, although could be considered a moderate, but he's against surrogate parents. He's against gender ideology. Not an LGBTQ guy. Look, it's him. He's white.
There's the guy.
And that's the guy. That's the guy.
I hate to say this, but I agree with
They're
you.
not giving it to the Asian guy that's pro gay rights. It's not happening.
There's our angle.
That's the angle.
What do you think, Buck?
I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay.
I think I'm going to see if my book has it.
What's the one you're looking at plus 125? You said, or for that guy?
Yeah, right now I'm looking at Bet US, and that has it actually has even odds on our Filipino friend Luis Antonio Tagli, I think is how you say it, and then plus 125 on Pietro Parolin, the more conservative white guy.
Okay, so he's plus money, and the other guy's the
It's
favorite.
in this one. It's flipped depending on where you're looking at it. Where
Maybe
you're
some
getting it.
inside info.
I love this hot Pope betting. Let's go.
What would Francis want?
I think we know where Francis would want, but I think that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I guess
a lot of people didn't like
I guess
Francis.
so. I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, he wasn't liked initially because everybody's scared, fear and all that. But then I thought he won people over the
Dude,
years.
I'm looking here at all the candidates, and like 3/4 of them hate Francis.
They hate him.
Yeah, like all the guy from Sri Lanka, the guy from Germany, the guy from Ghana, the guy from the Netherlands.
How cool would
They're all uber critical of Francis.
How cool would inner Vatican politics be?
Well, and that's the thing. I guess no one knows how they actually come up with
Right.
the Pope. So, dude, if I had to be involved in one thing that I could be a fly on the wall, I think I might take this. Just seeing all these dudes who claim to be like at the right hand of God all coming together to figure out who's going to be the leader of the Catholic Church. I mean, come on.
Yeah, fly on the wall.
There's deals being made and just backbiting and, the Lord's going to curse you. Let's go. Sign me up.
I have an announcement.
I like announcements.
Are you ready for an announcement?
Well, I know it's an announcement because you
Crinkled
did
the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me say, nothing says important announcement like that. That's when you know something good's going to happen.
It says here.
Attention.
Your local Toyota dealers presents the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms on Tuesday, June 24th.
No Pope needed.
Brought to you by Henderson & Daughters Windows and Doors and by Philbrook Law Accident and Injury Lawyers. Once again, there will be a morning and afternoon flight. Now, we've already been promoting the date of the tournament. What I am telling you is that foursomes can be purchased beginning tomorrow morning at 1080thefan.com.
Hey!
That's the big announcement.
Love it.
That comes from our interim program director, Jason Schreiber.
And we will be there on site, not doing the show and milling around as always.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're doing the best of again. So was that hole 6 out there, the little volcano
Yeah,
hole?
that's where we all hang out.
Yeah, we'll be out there hanging out. So we'll get a chance to say hi to everybody.
More details to come, but be on the lookout for those.
I'm going to
tomorrow.
wear my Pope hat out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should come back all poped out.
Oh, dude. Let's go. Can I buy? Is there Pope merch?
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's shops all over the place over there. Trust me.
I want some cool. I'm not a big That hat's a little much for me, but like a Pope robe, like I want one of those.
I mean, the Vatican has a gift shop.
really?
Mhm.
Oh, well, of course.
You can go in
You
there.
gotta make that money, man.
Books and such.
I don't want books. I just want I want like a Pope bathrobe to wear like when I leave the shower. I'm like, or that's a monk. I don't know. Like, do they chant in the Catholic? I don't know. I want a cool robe.
You're doing great.
I don't know. I was originally gonna do the hum, but I was like, wait, that's not.
No.
No.
That's cool.
No, they do a little bit of that.
Do
When
they?
when I visited, we went to the Vatican like right when it opened, very early, and there is a kind of a, I don't know if it's a common area, but there's an area you can walk around, and there were like monk type or priests or I don't know, papal people walking around with those incense hanging things, and they were like
What?
chanting prayers.
I
It
didn't
was-
Oh
see
yeah,
any of
yeah.
that.
They swing the
yeah,
the little.
they're
Ah.
going
The thing,
around
the-
and doing prayers.
Can I throw the holy hand grenade of Antioch?
Are
The
they
number of the
cursing you?
count is 3. Nay 2, unless proceeding to 3. Nay 4, 5 is right out.
I didn't get to see anything cool like that. Now I'm pissed.
No,
Must
sucks.
have
To,
gone at the bad time of day.
yeah, sucks to suck. No, not me. I'm going lock, stock, and barrel. Let's go.
So we have ousted our tyrant leader, Jeff Austin.
It's about time.
We had a party on Friday night,
kicked his old ass out.
and it was great. He was gifted a hammock,
A lot of booze.
a series of clocks
Yeah.
showing the time of each of the great U.S. capitals he was named after. I thought that was a good gift. That was Dusty came up with that
yeah,
one.
that's well played. Jeff. So he had the clock for Sacramento, Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
All that.
Austin,
Austin. Yeah.
because Austin isn't his real name, believe it or
No.
not. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Not his real name.
Stage name.
Fake radio name, like Sook.
Fake news.
Well, he gave a delightful speech.
And then you forgot too that Sprague, for some reason, got him a sex book.
What?
Yeah, Sprague got him a sex position.
a
book.
position of the day sex book.
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Ooh, that's
Sprague.
weird.
Yeah,
That was the first thing he like held up. When
I didn't
he's
see
like,
that.
I got
Who,
this.
who had it that Sprague was the weird dude giving a sex
Well,
Well,
book?
he
there were a
wasn't
couple
even
people
there.
wanted to thumb through that sex book too.
Yeah, Joe Fisher spent a lot of time flipping through it.
Yeah, Chuck was over there pretty quickly too.
Oh, Chuck from accounting.
He's taking photos.
Hell yeah.
This is
Yeah, he gave him a like a 365 day like sex book.
I didn't even see Sprague.
He was only there for like 10 minutes, then he had to leave to go
He was
coach.
coaching his daughter's basketball.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then he went to the wrong one, which we almost did.
Well, you did.
Yeah, well, I was driving you.
Yeah, well, luckily we knew what we
Yes.
were doing and
Yeah.
you did
I
not.
was getting ready to turn on the 405, and they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, we got to give some love to the Great Notion Brewery
Yes,
up
they
there
did a
on
great job.
24th. That's where we were.
Nice space.
Great space. They Cooley bought some pizzas for everybody.
Yeah, the pizza thief, and
They had some brewskis.
they did a very nice job up there. That was my first time there, and I will be back.
Paul is the owner. He listens to the fan. He's a good dude.
He was a great guy.
They took good care of us. And yes, Kurt Ludwig got housed.
Yeah.
And we all hung for a better part of 2 to 4 hours, depending on, or maybe longer. I guess there was an after party.
There was an after party.
I didn't attend that, but I was out of there at 7. So what's that? 3 solid hours.
3 solid hours.
Yeah, and everybody kind of stayed.
Mhm.
There were no fights.
No, other than Sprague, who left after 10 minutes.
Yeah, Sprague left. I didn't even know he was there.
Sprague and Swag both left after
Well,
like 10
Swag
minutes.
had to go do his hops thing.
Well, and Sprague had to coach girls basketball.
Cooley's kids had a game. You didn't see him leaving.
Oh no, Cooley was there at the after party because the Great Notion is right across the street from my hometown bar, Jerry's.
Jerry's, yeah.
So we just wandered from one to the other, and it went deep into the evening. So good times were
great.
had.
Well, we're a bossless guy.
Yes, we are.
Stay on the lookout for an
We're
announcement.
kind of like the Pope.
Yeah.
There's no Pope, and we have no.
If
program
you drive by
director.
our studios, you'll see steam coming out of the roof
when the
once we have
yes
picked a new boss.
once it's happened, and he will get a cool.
Meanwhile,
hat.
Jeff's corpse will parade around the northwest Portland.
Just little platform.
Isn't it all so weird?
It
We're all
really
going to
is.
wear real funny hats.
It's strange.
Well, anyway, do you want to get to some sports of note?
Yeah, why not?
We've got our NBA playoff reach around. We could start there. Or the Nico Amamaleva story.
Yeah, we do have a new quarterback. Hey, the smoke has cleared on that.
So we'll get to those items coming up. First Buck with sports.
This is Draft Week on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Mixed plates like Grandma used to make. If your grandma were from the Big Island, Woodstock, Burnside, Beaverton, or online, ate-oh-ate.com. First on the fan on the hardwood tonight, a doubleheader in the NBA playoffs. Both games on TNT. The Pistons try to even their series with the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. They'll tip it off at 4:30. Detroit is a 7-point road dog. Then in the late game, over in the Western Conference, the Clippers try to even their series against Denver after blowing a big lead in Game 1. That's scheduled to tip at 7 o'clock. Clippers a 1.5-point road favorite. In NBA news, the Atlanta Hawks have fired GM Landry Fields after the team failed to make the playoffs for the second year in a row. He had been with the franchise since 2020. And on the ice, 4 Stanley Cup playoff games. Game 1 between the Capitals and Canadiens at 4 on ESPN. Game 2 between the Jets and Blues in Winnipeg. Winnipeg already leading that series 1-0. That's at 4:30 on ESPN2. At 6:30 on ESPN, the Avs and Stars, with the Avalanche trying to take a 2-0 series lead. In the first game between the Oilers and Kings tonight at 7, that's over on ESPN2. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand Primetime with Isaac and Sue
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
on 1080 The Fan.
We got some NBA playoff action. Finally, real playoff action. Yeah. Finally happening. But first, college football, a real sport.
Well, I think the NBA is a real sport too. I mean,
Oh, is it?
yeah, I think so. Thought if you were real sport, I thought we were talking about Stanley Cup playoffs.
Or the golf?
Well,
I have no golf news.
talking about the big JT. What? Talking about the RCB,
Well, I mean,
JT, RCB. Let's
Buck
go.
hit it. He hit another one. He hit plus 2,200.
Did he really?
Yeah, he had JT
And
winning.
two
it.
outright bets on the tournament: Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
I did watch over the weekend while doing some cardio. I saw like a little 20-minute vignette on what happened to Jordan Spieth, and because we were talking about that, was that last week?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. What'd they say? What'd you learn?
Well, the guy was. I mean, no one knows for certain, but I guess they were saying insiders. The wrist is not like a major thing.
Yeah, he's a head case.
He's a head case, and it was interesting. They said that when he was, even when he was really good, he was one of the shortest players on the league, and his irons, like he was basically defying all of his numbers when he was killing it. He had some of the worst driving and iron play on the tour, and he was the anomaly of anomalies. He was such a good short player in putter.
Short
that-
game, yeah.
Yeah, and that it bailed him out. And they said that basically once he went from all-time anomaly, he just isn't that good anymore.
To just normal putter.
Just
yeah.
normal putter. And so
Yeah.
they were basically saying, is it possible that he just had a brief window where it was like
Yeah,
unbelievable?
He was hot. That's true.
But they just said his numbers, you've never seen someone that poor at irons and with the off the tee that won the way he did. And now that has kind of balanced out, he's not terrible. But he's just not in position to win. It was like 20 minutes was on YouTube, and
I mean, that is, you can even go to Scotty and say that. It's like Scheffler, he hasn't won this year.
yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
He's not. Rory is.
Yeah.
Scheffler hasn't won this year, and really the only difference between Scheffler this year and last year, although he's a little off, he had that injury with he cut his hand. So he's been a little behind the eight ball, but it's his putter.
Mhm.
I mean, when you go back to, so Tiger Woods never missed a putt that he had to make.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, it was
As
unbelievable
clutch as you can get.
how good that guy was with his putter. But he was also coupled with the fact that he was like one of the longest hitters, if not the longest on tour.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, hit his irons better than anyone ever. So that's why you have Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But it's like, to your point about Spieth and or Scheffler, Tiger never had that dip. I mean, he did once after he got hurt and he came back.
Yeah.
He was never the same.
Yep.
But in his heyday, you never really saw him come down off of that cloud. Spieth you have, and Scheffler you have, and that's why Scheffler's not part of why Scheffler's not winning right now.
So-
and on top of that, Rory is winning because his putter has gotten wildly better.
Yeah.
And it's still not his strength of his game, but he's making a lot more putts now than he used to. That's really the difference between the winning a lot and not.
And that's what this guy basically said. He goes, everyone's looking for some sort of like silver bullet here. And he said, the truth of the matter is it's really hard to maintain, right? Sustain success, especially at that level. But he said that when you look at Spieth, if you took his entire career and you said, hey, we've got whatever it is, 13 years to look at, because he's 30, whatever. So if he said, if we look at like 13 years, why are we looking at 11 years of outlier when really the outlier is the year and a half?
Yeah, because it came first.
It came first.
Yeah.
And they said that outlier.
He's 31.
Yeah, 31. So whatever it is, he just said that. He just made the argument that what you're seeing really is.
This is Spieth.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. It was interesting. It just made me think of it because you had talked about it and then we got into hot golf talk.
I just want everyone to know that we have just blown through another segment on golf talk that was brought up by Sukanik, not me.
Lane having to kill
So
25,
don't blame
Lane
me.
25 minutes on a Stairmaster, and I found that Jordan Spieth thing.
And now that you're leaving town, what you know what they're going to get tomorrow? A handful of golf segments.
Nice.
You better believe it.
I love it. Buckle up.
All right. No, I was just going to tell you that the Nico Amagunaleva here
Yeah.
saga.
Yeah.
is over.
Yes.
He's at UCLA, and the UCLA quarterback has just left and gone to possibly Tennessee.
That's the rumor.
Are they swapping
They
quarterbacks?
may have just traded.
That's amazing.
And I want nothing more than the UCLA guy to win 10, 11 games, have a great year, and Nico, enjoy your 4 wins in the Big Ten, Nico.
So this guy, Aguilar?
Is that his name?
Well, that's why I phrased it as a question. I was hoping football guy could help me with that. I think it's Aguilar.
I think that is correct.
Came from App State, and he just transferred to UCLA. Been there 3 months.
Joey
Aguilar.
Yes.
And he played there. He played in their spring game the other day, and now he's leaving because Nico's there. Because Nico's now going to be the starter there.
Yes.
And they're saying it cost Nico $4 million. He's like making $800 or something there.
Yeah. He wanted $4 million. He's not getting that. And some people think, again, it's all speculation, but the prevailing thought is he's getting less than $1 million after he was seeking $4 million. Good move. And by the way, he's playing for a team that kind of stinks versus a team that last year went to the college football playoff. Great negotiation.
Yeah, but he's home.
He's home.
LA.
Yeah, and more importantly, the offense better suits him according to his dad.
Yeah, there's that. I also saw this where a pastor from Tennessee was just rescued and reunited with his family. This was about this time last week. He was kidnapped at gunpoint and held for almost a week in South Africa. Why am I bringing this up?
I don't know.
Because once he was reunited with his family, the thing that he was most concerned about was Nico.
The hell happened to Nico while I was tied up down there?
How about that?
After being safely rescued, by the way, it involved the shootout. Okay.
Okay.
So he was kidnapped.
Kidnapped in a shootout.
He was kidnapped, and then in order to free him, the rescue involved a shootout.
Oh.
And the kidnappers were killed. This guy is safely rescued. He's taken to see his family. He starts touching base with people back in Tennessee. He's the pastor at, or one of the pastors at Fellowship Baptist Church. And one of the first things he said was that he was really upset about Nico.
Wow.
It just means more.
You know what? It does mean more. It's like that time the Alabama linebacker got arrested for assaulting his girlfriend, and the girlfriend's dad went to court and said that he didn't want the linebacker arrested because, hey, mistakes happen. He didn't want to affect the team. And then his closing statement to the judge was, "Roll Tide." What? What are we doing down there? Come on. Just means more.
So one of the other pastors said to him, and this is a quote from him, he said, and they said, well, you know, Nico left, didn't you? And his wife told me last night that the biggest conversation they had has been about Nico.
Oh, my God.
Hey, the boy was raised in East Tennessee. What can I tell you?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Perspective, you would think that a man of the Lord, after being kidnapped and witnessing a shootout, maybe would, think about other things.
I'd probably ask, like, hey, who'd the Hawks get in the transfer portal?
Well, it's a good question. Like,
Babe.
if you were kidnapped in March.
It was only 10 days.
Okay, but no, I need you kidnapped I need you longer than 10 days. You get kidnapped for the entire month of March, right?
Okay.
We get you back.
I want to know how the Jayhawks did in the tournament.
Would you ask?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah.
Within
The
I'd
question is,
probably
how
look
soon
it
would
up.
you ask?
I'd
How
look
high
it
on the
up.
list is that?
How,
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't ask my wife. I would probably just look it up on, I don't know, internet.
No, you don't have internet. We got you on a plane.
Then I would ask.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'd ask.
Then let's cut this.
I'd want to know that.
What happens if everyone was so concerned they didn't pay attention and they don't know the answer and you don't have internet?
I'd be thoroughly disappointed.
Let's cut this guy some slack then. Because I think
Well, I think there's one thing about asking, hey, how'd the Jayhawks do? Well, let's cover all our bases. Are you okay? Is everybody okay? Okay. How'd they do again?
But then
It's another to continue on about it. Like, that's the thing you're upset about.
But here's the thing. I think you would, because I would have to tell you that they bowed out early.
In the first round?
Yeah.
Again? Send me back to South Africa.
I think
I'm out of here.
We're making fun of this guy, and I hate to tell you, Rob.
I'm not making fun of him.
I'm making fun of him, and I'm saying this could have been you.
Yep.
If I told you got bounced in the first round.
Yeah, my wife would be like, oh my God.
Honey, you're like, what?
You just got kidnapped.
First round again.
For a month.
Well, I'm fine now.
Well, they weren't showing the games.
I tried to ask him to turn it on. I couldn't see through the damn blindfold. What do you want from me?
Let's get to some NBA playoffs, okay?
Let's get to going.
That's coming up on The Fan.
It's back, and it's sure
A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
On 1080 The Fan.
Well, now to the NBA playoffs, which are finally underway. Believe it or not, we made it. It's a long wait, but we made it.
We had some good ones, too.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knicks game was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the Laker game was
Why
a
are you going
blowout,
there?
but now we have an interesting series because now everyone's panicking over that. It wasn't close, but I'll tell you right now, I'm throwing all my weight. I want to see Steph win another one. Playoff Jimmy and Steph, I'm on board. Let's go.
Well, is there anything in the playoffs even remotely as entertaining as Steph Curry?
No.
Anything anywhere?
No.
Even Doncic? Like
even Doncic, even LeBron on a heater, like rolling back
It
Father
doesn't-
Time. Like
There is
nothing's
nothing
as electrifying as Steph on one.
When
he is such a treat.
When he is cooking, there's just some of those shots.
Almost all the threes he hit last night were ridiculous.
Yeah, they're dumb. That's the Paul George. That's a bad shot unless he's shooting it.
Well, he missed a bunch early.
Yeah.
But he's even fun when he isn't cooking because he's trying to cook and it's not working out, but it's still entertaining.
Yes. And then you throw the fact that Jimmy Butler is in playoff Jimmy mode. And I just...
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know they kept talking on the broadcast about how good their defense has been since the Butler trade.
Yeah.
I didn't know how locked down they've been.
Yeah. And if you go back to when they were the dominant team in the league, for all the talk of the Splash Brothers, they had one of the, if not the best defense. And they talk about it all the time. They would make their mark when they needed to. They would play lockdown D, and then Steph or Clay would come down, hit some big threes, and their defense is what led to the offensive explosion. And they've got it now. They got some long rangey guys, and Jimmy Butler is playing 40+ minutes, and Steph may not be necessarily a great team defender. Steph is not a sieve on defense the way that
he works hard on defense.
He works hard.
And they do their best to put him in a position to not get exposed.
Well, freaking Houston could do nothing.
Yeah.
And that was more alarming, I think, than the Lakers game.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what's more alarming. I mean, you have death.
We'll find out in game 2 here.
Well, yeah, but you have death taxes and overreacting to game ones in the NBA playoffs. Yeah. We do it every year. I would not overreact to the Lakers loss. Redick even said, he's like, we weren't ready physically.
Yeah, he's like, well, they caught us off guard.
I think if I'm Houston, I'm worried after seeing that.
Yeah. Well, and you wonder, again, Houston, for all that Houston has going on for it, it's a nice collection. They don't have that guy. And it just reminds me a lot of when we've seen Sacramento have a year like this where they ended up the 3 seed. Memphis has been the 2 seed. And yet you don't really buy them. It's just, it's a good collection. And in the regular season, it's good enough. But when push comes to shove, and now you're playing against Draymond, and you're playing against Jimmy, and you're playing against Steph, and you're playing against a team that's been there, guys like that win playoff series.
Speak for yourself. I don't watch Houston Rockets basketball. So last night was the first time I'd laid eyes on these new Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
Tell me about that big, fat white guy in the middle.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Oh, Şengün? He's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
He was an all-star this year.
I love that guy.
Was he an all-star last year too?
I don't know if he was last year, but
Şengün.
this year, this was the guy. I mean,
He's
they
awesome.
never called him out specifically, but like people like Devin Booker were miffed that they like bigger names weren't on the roster.
Yes.
It's because he took a spot because he's awesome.
Where's he from?
He was like the number 15 overall pick.
Şengün?
And is he Turkish? He was like the number
find out.
15 pick a couple years ago.
Yes, he is Turkish.
Turkish. And yeah, that's the
bathhouse
extent.
boy.
I want to say about halfway through. In fact, it was probably the All-Star game when I first Googled him and went, "Who the hell is that?"
I love
guy?
that guy.
And they were, and people have said, for all the talk of Houston not having a guy, one, the Thompson kid has been really good for them.
Yeah, he's really solid.
And they were saying, wait until the playoffs, and by the time you're done, how do you pronounce his name again?
Şengün.
Sengun. They said that
Şengün, I think.
by the end of
Right?
this series,
Şengün.
everyone will know who he
Yeah.
is.
Well, we already do.
Yeah.
But isn't that a little bit like the Blazers saying,
Yeah.
like he's not, well, he's good, but he's not,
good. Well, and this
or don't try to put him in
Yes.
superstar.
And this is the problem, and we do it with again. I just mentioned Sacramento with Fox and Sabonis. Memphis is a little bit different because I do think when Ja's on, he was that guy. But we do this a lot where we do try to take a good player and maybe even an all-star caliber player, and you try to make him into a bigger deal than he is. Like, look, making an all-star game is nice. LaMarcus Aldridge made all-star games. LaMarcus Aldridge was a really nice player. Dude, he wasn't a guy that was carrying you deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, this guy Şengün is no Jokic.
No.
But I
he
loved
is,
him.
But he's nice.
But he
Tree
averaged
trunks.
19 and 10 this year. He's
Yeah,
good.
he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Tree trunks for legs. Doesn't
Yes.
move. Doesn't ever jump ever.
Although he put Draymond on a
great.
poster early in that one.
Yeah. Oh, I guess so. I guess he did. But he was all they had.
Yeah. I was looking up to see because I think he was he drafted? They say he was drafted by Oklahoma City, so he came over in a trade. But yeah, he's a nice piece for them.
Rest in peace, Rockets.
But is this going to be one of those again where we see it all the time? Team doesn't really have like a marquee player. Great regular season team, win 50 games, 2 or 3 seed, and then you end up playing a buzzsaw in the Golden State Warriors, and you just get run out of the gym.
Well,
because that game was not competitive.
They just couldn't do anything offensively, and we just trust the Warriors.
Yeah.
We've seen, even though it's a different iteration of the Warriors, you still have Kerr, Steph, defense, like dude, and Draymond, like that. We just trust that.
Yeah.
And that wins. That translates. This is what Nico's been saying.
Yes.
Defense wins championships.
Well, and of course, then we get Luka had like 30. So the Lakers get drilled. They get blown out. A couple times they got it down to like 10. I was watching that a little bit, and they'd get down to like 9 or 10, and then it would get pushed back up. And of course, again, you want to talk about the overreaction. Luka had 37. And yet we're right back to all the talk shows. Well, this is what Nico was saying. 37 doesn't mean anything, as if it was Luka's fault that they got blown out. I mean, my God.
God, what a narrative.
Well, it's exactly. Like, no offense, but I mean, dude,
That's not the story here.
Luka was 12 of 22 from the field, 5 of 10 from the behind the arc, 8 of 9 at the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds, but only 1 assist, and so now I love it. I listened to at least like 5 of these the douchey talking head NBA experts, all the ex-players.
Caitlin Clark is white.
Crap on the guy that had 37 and 8. And they get blown out, but somehow that's Luka's fault.
He's the big topic. Did you see what Nico said today?
I saw that
he
he
showed up in Stock Watch.
I saw at the press conference the door was locked when he left, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, he got locked out. George W. style. Wasn't that George W. that got up from one and
couldn't get out?
Went the wrong way or
He's
something?
like, what? Well, Biden did that a lot where he just Roomba'd around. But yeah, I think George W. He's like, where am I going?
Well, okay, so we'll get some more NBA stuff, including the legend of Russell Westbrook coming up in our next.
Hey, we had a Westbrook sighting.
Our next segment. We also have Joe Mazzulla, who is one of us. Get up!
He went from maybe just. Well, first off, that dude clearly is on the spectrum.
He's insane.
He's insane, but
I love him.
I'm starting to come around.
He's basketball Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
I'm
for
starting
sure.
to like what.
If you didn't see what he did, it was great.
It was great.
So we will get to all of that coming up next on The Fan.
this SportsCenter update. First on the fan on the hardwood tonight, a doubleheader in the NBA playoffs. Both games on TNT. The Pistons try to even their series with the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. They'll tip it off at 4:30. Detroit a 7-point road dog. Then in the late game, the Clippers try to even their series against the Denver Nuggets after blowing a big lead in Game 1. That one's scheduled to tip at 7 o'clock. The Clippers 1.5-point road favorites. In NBA news, the Atlanta Hawks have fired GM Landry Fields after the team failed to make the playoffs for the second year in a row. He had been with the franchise since 2020. And on the ice, 4 playoff games tonight, but locally, the Seattle Kraken have fired head coach Dan Bylsma after just 1 year with the franchise. It's the second year in a row they've canned their coach after just 1 season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. Will your team have a draft to remember?
With the 75th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Russell Wilson, quarterback, Wisconsin.
Or crap out.
With the 3rd pick, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
This is Primetime on Draft Week.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080. What a moment. The Fan.
How'd that Trey Lance thing go for the Niners?
Forgot about that.
That does not get enough flack. It's one of the worst trades. They gave up. It was 3 ones, but it was actually
that's crazy.
Well, it was 2 ones and then the swap of
Trey
of the
Lance?
ones, and I think a 4th and like a 5th or a 4th and a 6th.
Well, and if memory serves, they made the trade, and then there was all this infighting about what the pick should be. There were lots of reports that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, which would have been equally disastrous.
Oh
but
my God.
Yeah, it was like they moved all that way up and didn't even know who the hell they wanted.
It's just
wow. Yeah, you're right, but they're so good that it doesn't matter.
It's the only thing that saves them because it was just.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a big thing.
It was horrific.
When you make bad moves like that and you don't suck, no one cares.
But they should get the flack.
Although maybe they should. Maybe you could argue they would have won the title had they not given up those picks.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the draft capital, I mean,
never know.
In every draft, it should be when you're drafting a guy, especially in the first 5 or 6 picks, that guy needs to be an All-Pro. And then a first-round pick, the idea is that you need to be drafting Pro Bowlers or at least high-end starters. And then you're looking in every draft to probably land 2 to 3 other starters, quality contributors, and that is a good draft. And then if you can fill in some other guys that are developmental. So when you give up basically 2 ones, and because the other one was a swap, and then 2 mid-round guys, I mean, you're talking about cost control. You were hoping 2 of your top 6 to 8 players and then 2 other starters. That's the difference. I mean, you go back to that Super Bowl they lost against Kansas City. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that puts you over the top. I mean, look at the Eagles, right? The Eagles the last couple of years, if they don't, this last year, if they don't get Mitchell and DeJean, their 2 corners in the same draft, they don't win the Super Bowl. If they don't have Jalen Carter fall to them, they probably don't win the Super Bowl, right? I mean, it's guys like that, or Cam Jurgens, like, and because he's not a first round guy, but you look at the way that team was built. I mean, you take out 2 or 3 of those guys, which is essentially what you did by giving up all that draft capital. That's the difference between winning and losing Super Bowls.
Yep. Well, anyway, it is NFL Draft Week. As per the NBA draft, which is in June? Or is that in July? June.
I think it's June.
Yeah.
And then we got the coin flip this week, though, right?
NBA draft Wednesday, June 25th.
The Blazers coin flip? Which coin flip?
Yeah, the Blazers have to have a coin flip to find out.
They already lost.
Oh, they already lost?
Yeah. With the Suns?
When did that happen?
Yesterday?
Oh, I missed it.
Today? God, I don't know when it happened. I read about it.
Oh.
Right? Is there another coin flip?
Blazers lose tiebreaker drawing to Suns will be slotted 10th in NBA draft lottery.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was earlier today?
Yeah, today.
Oh, I missed it.
They had a 3.8 chance.
Yeah.
3.8% chance of landing the top pick.
Mm-hmm.
They now have a 3.7% percent chance of landing the top pick.
Well, now the Cooper Flag's coming out. I mean, go
So-
Blazers, man. You're getting it. Yeah, Flags!
Yeah, wasn't that big of a deal. But the Suns,
Yeah.
because the Suns and Blazers tied, so they had to flip a coin
Yes.
for 9 or 10, and
Yeah.
they
I thought that
Suns
was
won.
I thought that was later this week, but
You're an idiot.
I am an idiot. And then when is the draft lottery?
I'm gonna go I think I read May 14th.
May 12th.
12th.
Monday, May 12th. And
Monday.
then we find out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, chances. Hell yeah, that's good pizza. Hell yeah, that's good draft order.
NBA playoff.
Hell
reach
yeah,
around
that's
here.
good pizza.
Joe Mazzulla is great. He's the coach of the Celtics. They won their opening
Yeah.
round game.
It was good for a half. They were losing at the half to the upstart Orlando Magic.
Tatum went down, writhing in pain.
Fell and hurt his wrist.
I don't know do you think NFL players do this too?
No.
Because NFL is such a violent sport. Like, we just assume that when somebody goes down, they're really hurt.
Yep.
Like, did you watch did you happen to be watching Padres Astros last night?
I saw the highlight. I didn't
Yeah.
watch it live, but dude, that thing was gnarly.
Yeah, there's a collision at first base
Yeah.
in the first inning, and Luis Ariz just went down.
Yeah, well, the first baseman kind of he was just on the bag. There was nowhere for him to go, but
I think it was the second baseman, right? It was
Was it the
over on a
second
bunt
baseman?
coverage, I think. I think
kinda-
he slid over from to cover first because it was a bunt, I
dude, he
think.
kind of did the brace throw the shoulder into him a little bit. It is brutal.
Yeah, but it was also one of those where, I mean, we do this often as fans.
Yeah.
Especially in sports like baseball and basketball, not necessarily football.
Yeah.
Because in football, we just give guys the benefit of the
The
doubt. It's a
only-
violent sport.
The only time is if you're faking an injury to stop
there's,
the clock.
there's that. But we know what that is.
Yes.
That's when they go down.
No.
They're just standing there, and then they go,
Yeah.
oh.
And most of the time in football, when someone goes down and we see the replay, it's usually like,
I'm hurt.
you can see someone get rolled up
Yeah.
on, or especially when
Yeah.
someone gets hit, like you know.
But even in baseball, like last night, I was going, come on, all
Really?
right." Yeah. I was like, get up.
Oh gosh, man.
And they do this in basketball all the time. And
Huh.
again, it's I mean, it's like, we don't know, but it's just, I think it's just the nature of these sports. Like, you're not really hurt.
Yeah.
And then in basketball, these guys are constantly.
LeBron's the king of it.
He's the king.
Yes.
Of it.
Someone like bats one of
Yes.
his eyelashes and he
Yes.
writhes around like they've stolen his eyeball.
They're trying to milk it.
It's brutal.
And I think they love the idea that people think they're hurt. They love the gasp.
And then the hero moment when you
Yes.
get up and you shake it.
I think they also
Yes.
like to just get a break and get their wind. I think that is a part of it too. Sometimes they
Well,
just
that's
like
fair.
to get some time.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Gamesmanship. But
but Jason Tatum was like, he's like
Yeah.
hands over his head.
I
And,
was like, oh.
Oh.
And Missoula knew it. Missoula, his own coach, stops the trainer from going over there and says, "Get up!" He yells across the court, "Get up!" I
and
freaking love
instant-
that.
And the look on his face, dude, he was staring a dagger through Jason Tatum.
He's one of us.
You could just tell. He has a little water bottle in his hand. He's like, F you, get
Get
your
up.
ass up.
You ain't hurt, bitch.
Yeah, Tatum's got his arms above his head. He's doing the knees back and
Lace him up, you little bitch. Let's go. You're not hurt.
Get up.
Oh, I'm hurt.
He just get back. He's fine. Get up. Yeah, it turns out, by the way, X-ray's negative.
Yeah,
You're
he was fine.
He was fine. And then they kicked their ass.
See,
They
but,
won by 20
You know,
or
I tell you
whatever.
what, it tells you a little bit of something of how Missoula thinks of Tatum.
Yes.
By when he did that.
Yes.
He thinks he's kind of a,
Yeah. Well, clearly he's seen it before.
Yeah.
Like if that is if that's someone that you believe is tough and is rolling around, that you're like, oh, geez.
Kick the ball, you little bitch.
Yes. I would like to believe that at some point in practice he has shoot the ball, you little bitch. Get up off the ground. Love it.
Because these bitches be high maintenance. All right, so we'll get to Russell Westbrook a little bit later. We got to go.
Yeah.
Bye, bitch. I also have what Nico said today, which was really something.
That guy.
Dude, that guy. I don't know why he keeps speaking.
No,
He's said a lot of things that are really something. Like,
stop
just shut
Yes,
up, man.
talking.
Shut up. Stop.
Stop it.
Stop. So we'll get to that later, but up next, it's our Primetime Stock Watch, what we're buying and selling from the weekend in sports on the Fan.
Check out the Fan. 1-800-DIVORCE. When you need to take stock of your rights, 1-800-DIVORCE is on your side. Call 1-800-DIVORCE today.
All right, in the news is coming up next. But first, our stock watch from Buckley, who probably has odds on the next pope in here, I'm guessing.
He's got an angle. I know that.
Well, you guys found the angle, which, might I say, was a pretty good one. Anyways, let's move on to the association.
Well, can we tell them what it is? For those that didn't hear.
Bet on the white.
Well, there's two candidates who have come out as front runners. One of them's white, and one of them's not.
How about this? One of them is a very left-leaning Filipino gentleman, and the other is a conservative white guy.
Yeah, we're going with the conservative white guy.
Yeah. Taking that one. Take that to the bank.
That's the angle.
Yeah.
So the Dallas Mavericks did their whole exit interview, end of season press conference thing today.
Stop talking.
And one reporter, I will get his name, was really directed to the point with Nico. Here's what he asked.
Why shouldn't you be fired?
Wow.
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year. You have to judge from totality, from beginning to end. And so I think I have a really good working relationship with Patrick. I think you add in Rick. The leadership that we have is really elite. And you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Buy or sell, we'll see next year that this team will be competing for a championship when they're healthy.
Wrong.
So he's saying healthy Kyrie, AD, Lively, Clay.
Yeah.
And who would be their...
Who else did he say? I mean, I could go back, but...
Well, first off, Kyrie's not going to be probably ready at the start of the year.
No.
If he does come back, I mean, he's coming off a torn ACL. He's on the wrong side of 30. AD's on the wrong side of 30, always hurt. Klay Thompson really is on the wrong side of 30. So you're basically saying you're now
PJ Washington.
PJ Washington. So you're now saying that you're betting on a bunch of guys that are injury prone, including one coming off a major injury that in their mid 30s are going to win you a championship? Yeah, no. And by the way, I love how quiet he was. I think I've done a really good job here. And yeah. No, dude, that guy, just stop talking. And by the way, don't answer that question. You don't do yourself any favors by answering those questions.
Well, I think I've done a pretty good job here.
Just do the Bryce Harper thing. It was a clown question, bro.
Well, but he's in a tough spot because
they make him talk.
They have botched this so much that everybody now wants answers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you want answers.
There is no one.
There aren't.
No.
First of all, there aren't answers.
No.
Okay, either he can't tell you, which is what I think. I think he has to lie.
Yeah.
Or he's just that dumb and that bad, and some people believe that. Either way, there's no answer.
No.
But people want answers. So then we get stupid press conferences like this where people ask good questions and he can't really answer them.
No.
But he's got to be nice about it because if he's a jerk, he's going to get raked over the coals again.
Well, there are reports out now that the owner, Patrick Dumont, is upset with Nico that it wasn't conveyed to him just how upset the fan base would be with this move. As if, one, the owner shouldn't know that himself, but two, like, you couldn't have possibly seen this coming.
Well, he could have seen it coming because he was all quiet about it.
Yeah.
He knows. See, again, he cannot tell the truth about this. He knew what he was doing trading Luka.
Which is why he was quiet about it.
Which is why he was quiet about it. This narrative now that he's come back and a couple of he circles back on just a few talking points every time. I heard his press conference today. And one of them is he really wanted Anthony Davis. Okay, so they've obviously gone back in and put their heads together and said, look, we're going to have to answer for this more than we want to. What do we say? And one of the things he said was, look, I can just sell Anthony Davis. I wanted Anthony Davis. I love Anthony Davis.
I do have a bonus Nico for you because, let's hear this clip. Here's a little part of that.
I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level. But really, the way we looked at it is, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Klay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage. And so, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. So it just continued to, go on and on.
So to your point, Isaac,
yeah,
this
that's
is
what
what
I'm
they have
getting at.
decided.
That's what they
'cause he said
decided.
it multiple times in this press conference.
That is what they decided that the narrative will be, even as dumb as that is. That's what he thinks will get everybody to shut up and all this to just go away. There's nothing he can say to help his cause, but he has to speak, so that's what they chose.
And the owner now wants him speaking because he's like, yo, man, I don't want to wear this.
You want to know what's fascinating? I wanted to look this up, to be fair. So Clay missed 2 straight seasons because of the horrific injuries. So he'll be 35 next year. Do you realize that if you're saying over the last 4 to 5 years, you know who's played more games between Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and Klay Thompson?
AD.
It's Klay Thompson.
Yikes.
Klay Thompson has played in 72, 77, 69, and then when he did come back from the injury halfway through that season, he played in 32 of 32 games. Kyrie Irving has played in, like, you go back to when he was 27, 20, 54, 29, 60, 40, 20, 58, 50. Anthony Davis, 51, 51, 56, 40, 36. Like, so you're now saying dudes that miss 30-plus games every year, all, by the way, well into their 30s, they're magically going to stay healthy. And they're going to be, like, it's just, it's ridiculous. But like you said, it's a valid point. That's the narrative they came up with, and you have no other choice. Just stick with it. And then get locked out of your press conference, which was hilarious.
Yeah, buy or sell, they should just fix the glitch and make sure that key doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, they just went to leave. He went to leave, and the door was locked. It's like, I can't get out.
Let's move on to another place in the Western Conference, Houston, where Game 1 between the Warriors and Rockets took place. Here's Kevin Harlan last night.
Moody will drive. Şengün will defend. Curry's got it. He and Butler, as I said, 18 apiece. He'll dance. He'll throw up a shot. Oh,
are you kidding me?
Geometrically, that should not have happened. Wow, what a shot. Look at this.
I mean, it's almost like he's running out of bounds and shoots a 25-footer. Look at the arc on this.
Buy or sell that with the help of Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry rolling like this, you would make the Warriors a favorite in any series remaining in the Western Conference?
No, because I'll still take Oklahoma City. Okay. And I know Memphis has their own issues, but they beat Memphis by 50.
51. Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't know. Other than experience, I don't know what you poke holes in the game of Oklahoma City.
They're great defensively.
But outside of that, and I'll even throw Oklahoma City in. Golden State can win. Golden State can beat any team in the West. I would still take Oklahoma City, but yes, if Jimmy plays to this level and Steph plays to this level and the rest of them just have to play defense and complementary basketball, Golden State can win the West. But no, Oklahoma City, until otherwise proven, I'm not taking anyone over.
Are you
OKC.
doing this stock to, like, do you think that the Warriors would be favored over Oklahoma City?
No, I'm curious.
No
I mean, I think it maybe depends how it. If they were to meet in the Western Conference Finals, which I'm not even sure, does the bracket allow for that? Would they?
Yeah, they're on the opposite side.
Yeah, so if they met for the finals, I think it depends how they both got there.
Right?
Yeah,
they're on the opposite side.
I mean, I do think OKC would probably be favored, but if they struggle with a couple teams and Golden State has it rolling, I don't know.
I guess so. If Oklahoma City has an injury or struggles,
sure.
Kind of looking,
or like SGA stops getting the whistle, or I don't know.
Golden State would get the winner of the Timberwolves Lakers, and then Oklahoma City would get the winner of the Nuggets Clippers, and then if they went past that, you meet in the conference finals.
Yeah, well, I sell it. I think Oklahoma City would be favored.
Well, let's move over to the ice, an event for some in the waning moments of the Knights and Wild game. Suk, did you see this?
I did see this.
Spurgeon looks to center. Eriksson Ek has it. 2 seconds to go. Towards the empty net. Just before the buzzer. Howden sends it all the way down. One way or the other, this will be a Game 1 win for the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll see if the empty netter counts. Either way, they open this best-of-7 with a home win.
So that is how it sounded at the end of Game 1. It was a 3-2 game.
You're getting ready for one of the all-time
under
beats.
And that's what we're going with. Over-under was 5.5. That hit 6. They went back and checked the tape.
0.1.
The puck crossed the line on the empty net with 0.1 seconds to go.
Wow.
Buy or sell, you can think of a worse beat.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, point one. Watching that in real time as it's sliding towards the net, and you're watching you're like, no. That's as bad as it gets. That is, if you had the under, that is as bad as it gets right there.
I guess maybe the Chris Webber timeout.
0.1 second, and by the way, it didn't look like when that went in, you're like, oh, that doesn't.
It looked
count.
late.
It looked late, and then they watched it. I mean, you think about, because the entire puck has to cross. Even when they slowed it down, there was a little like, is that good? And they ruled it good. God, gambling's amazing.
So you're saying the Chris Webber timeout affected the point spread? I mean, I don't remember the
I believe it did.
scenario of that game.
Yeah,
I mean, I
don't know.
remember the timeout. I just don't remember the spread and like.
It's just brutal.
I'm thinking of events that would happen. I mean, I guess
I would imagine there are worse beats, because the one thing I would say is, at least in this scenario, it's just a time thing. It'd be like a shot not falling.
And an empty net opens the probability up for that to
It
happen
would be
anyway,
like a
so-
basketball shot not falling, like the red light goes off before it leaves,
Sure.
that type of thing. Whereas I'm sure there are some beats, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are some that are just absurd. Like the ball bounces off the guy's foot and goes in and covers the spread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there is worse, but that's no good. No. Unless you had the under.
Because at least with
and then it's the greatest win of all time.
Most of the times, like when the ball leaves your hand, but in hockey, it's not. It has to cross. You get to see the puck sliding across.
Yeah, they
the
had the
ice.
frame-by-frame Zapruder overhead shot of it. And finally, this is more of just a silly bonus, but I came across this last night. Coach O, the former LSU coach Ed Orgeron, speaking English and French Cajun this weekend.
Ouais, mais ça coûte trop, Miami. Oh, no. I can't afford that. Jacques can afford that. I can't afford that.
Buy or sell, we need Coach O back in college football.
Yes, we do, but can we again call out the awkward laughing? Do we need that?
Ça coûte trop, Miami. Oh, no. I can't afford that. Jacques can afford that. I can't afford that.
God. Yes, we do need Coach O back.
And I'm glad you didn't have that Rafa Salafusha who never got past number 1.
And there he is, speaking English.
You need a translator.
It sounds the same. Yes, we need him back.
Yeah. When's the last time he did anything? Was it LSU? Was that the last?
He's sitting on a pile of money.
I think, he is sitting on a pile of money, and I also think that the way that he flamed out there was really bad, and they swept a lot of stuff under the rug, and I think a lot of people know what was going on.
He's been out since 2021, so he's done.
And he hasn't
won a
sniffed
title.
anything else.
Yep.
That guy won a title.
Yes. Now he just goes shirtless a lot. Every time I see Ed Orgeron, he's like drunk and shirtless on a boat.
Living his best life.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Exactly. Again, sitting on a pile of money. Good for Ed.
Goldberg Jones, when it comes to divorce, custody, or child support issues, trust Goldberg Jones to help. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Phone questions answered at no charge. In the News is next. It is a very special day in history, and we'll get to that when we return. Here's Buck.
This is Draft Week on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brian Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, lots of playoff action, both on the hardwood and the ice tonight. There's a doubleheader in the NBA playoffs. Both games are on TNT. The Pistons and Knicks will tip it off in just a matter of moments at Madison Square Garden. Pistons trying to even that series at 1 game apiece as the Knicks won the first one. Detroit is a 7-point road dog tonight. Then in the late game, the Clippers try to even the series against Denver after letting the lead slip late in Game 1. And that one's scheduled to tip at 7 o'clock. The Clippers are 1.5-point road favorites. In some NBA news, the Atlanta Hawks have fired GM Landry Fields after the team failed to make the playoffs for the second year in a row. On the ice, the Canadiens and Capitals are underway. They are scoreless in the first period. Meanwhile, the Blues and Jets just about to drop the puck in Winnipeg. The Seattle Kraken have fired their head coach, Dan Bilesma, after just 1 year with the franchise. It's the second year in a row they've canned their coach after just 1 season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand.
You know who needs the advocates, Jace? Luisa Rise.
Oh yeah,
of the Padres.
Yeah, dude, he got a shoulder put into him.
He got leveled.
It was
and now
bad.
he's in concussion protocol.
Well, I would hope so. He took it right on the chin. So
Kind of did one of those pass outs with the arms.
Yeah, they called it the fencing position.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called the fencing position, but yeah,
It's more like the zombie.
Yeah, I call it the Tua. You're like, So if you've ever found yourself in the Tua position, well, you wouldn't know because you'd be unconscious. But when you wake up and someone tells you what happened, you should probably call the advocates because that's what the other insurance company relies on, you not having your faculties. And then they offer you like $12. You sign away all your rights. Then, boom.
We had a little something happen at the house the other day. Very small
little something.
Auto thing. But it's amazing. Neither side knew what to do when it came to how to handle it. And so my wife, it was an Uber driver. And
did you have an Uber driver go through your front door again?
No, but
I love Tesla.
Look, it was a whole thing. But this was right before our party. She comes to the party. She's like, "My God, this guy hit this poor kid. He had no idea what to do." And then the guy whose car got hit, he had no idea what to do. And nobody knew what to do. No one ever knows what to do. Just call the advocates.
They know what to do.
They know what to do. It's why they exist. So
Yes.
if you have been injured, you need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Hit them up on their website, advocateslaw.com.
Today is game.
All right, cruising right along here on a Monday. It is April 21, 2025. It is time now for In the News. I am your noted newsman. Hello, thank you. Please be seated. I love you all. Well, not all of you.
Some.
Some
Most.
of you.
A portion.
And it makes me sad.
Not even most, but some of you.
A handful?
It's brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. I mean, I love him, but what a bitch. Today is National Yellow Bat Day.
What?
Oh, like the wiffle ball bats?
I think so.
That makes sense.
That's the only yellow bat I'm familiar
I will
with.
say that the
skinny bat?
Yeah, the skinny bat, and it comes with one wiffle ball.
Yeah.
That's like the bet. I don't know how much they are anymore, but like back in the day, that was like the best $6 you could ever spend.
Yeah, put one under my Christmas tree every year. I'll be happy.
Well, it's very true. You get a lot of entertainment value out of that.
Yeah.
Now, I was one, I don't know if in your wiffle ball days, if you liked the wiffle ball that came with the yellow bat.
Yes.
Had the half.
Yes. That's
full.
the only wiffle ball that matters.
Yeah, see, I disagreed. I liked the harder one that was all holes. Yeah, it was great.
Well,
because it went, you couldn't, it was harder to throw
exactly
curvy with it.
Yeah.
But it also went further.
They're almost two different games.
Yeah.
Playing with the wiffle, vents or not. I also, rather than having like the completely closed off one, I had friends that would put duct tape around the wiffled one to make it just
I'll
solid.
just tell you right now, you playing with the Swiss cheese ball, clearly you're a coward.
It was great.
The whole point of wiffle ball is you could get on the mound and you could throw like the nastiest slider known to man. I mean, come on.
Dive on those screwballs
you
would be
still
nice.
do that with those, but yeah, that to Buck's point, a lot of people, that ball was too flimsy, and a lot of people would put duct tape around it because you want it to act like an actual.
Because even if you make great contact, because of the vents, it just dies.
Exactly. Yeah, it was too whistly.
By the way, Ace Hardware, $7.99.
Hell yeah,
Wiffle
some things
ball,
never change.
Bat and ball set. Again, inflation, my ass. Look at that. It's still
That's
$8.
That's right.
Make America great again with the wiffle bat. Although I would say that we would take the yellow bat and then we'd wrap like athletic tape around the barrel.
See?
It'd give you a little extra.
Yeah. See
little heft. You could
in
customize.
In fairness, and to be really frank here, this is hard for wiffle ball truthers, but it's true.
Yeah.
The original yellow bat and the regular wiffle ball that came with it were kind of mid. You had to kind of juice it up or get the other ball in order for it to be a real game.
Yeah, you got to customize.
That's right.
You could spray. You could put some tape and spray paint it, and oh, dude, now I want to play some wiffle ball.
It is also Al Capone's Vault Day. Yes, it was this day in 1986.
Wow.
The Mystery of Al Capone's Vault drew 30 million viewers.
Bull crap.
Yes.
30 million people tuned into that?
Yeah. I was there. I remember it.
Oh,
I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
11-year-old me.
Yeah. Gosh. And by the way, if you're wondering, they opened the vault.
There was nothing in it. So the story is, okay, to this day, it's the highest rated syndicated special in TV history.
Wow.
I don't know if you know that.
I don't. Well, I do now. I didn't.
It was a sealed vault. It was owned by Al Capone. It was in the basement of a Chicago hotel.
I do know that.
It was found when a construction company was hired to renovate the hotel in the 80s. They didn't know it was there until then.
Yeah.
And then they noticed that there were a series of walled-off chambers on the property. So Geraldo had just been fired from his gig. I don't remember
it was like
which one.
doing the Nazi lesbian hookers,
Yeah, I don't know. Was it a talk show?
Yeah, it was a talk show. And he's like, people would like throw chairs at him.
Hey, the Nazi Power Hour. Where do I find that?
Yeah, on Geraldo's show.
So he had just been fired, so he was looking for something big, and he tackles this. He brings in an IRS agent who was there in case they found money.
Yeah.
He had a medical examiner on hand in case they found bodies.
Yeah, I remember it. Like I remember watching it because it was like in this,
I do too.
the dank basement, and everyone had hard hats.
Dude, it was a huge deal.
Yes.
Everybody was talking about it. I was like, what are they going to find in there? And once they opened it, there wasn't one damn thing in it.
Just
Completely empty, except for debris. And then I think they said they found maybe a bottle of Prohibition-era booze. An old bottle. An empty bottle. That was it.
That's great.
I also love the fact that Al Capone was running his operation from hotels in Chicago.
Yeah.
Probably not ideal.
Yeah. I guess he had like like a series of tunnels like underneath that you could go from one to the other. I mean, yeah, what the main I forget the main hotel, but you can go still see it in Chicago. Like he lived in a hotel. Like
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was running his operations, and he would switch hotels. But this hotel was eventually demolished in 1995. But I think it was called like the Lexington.
Something like that.
But Geraldo said that after the special aired, and it was a live event, we all tuned in to see him open
No one will ever do that again.
Not open the door, but they blew it up.
Yeah, they knocked it down with like a caterpillar or something.
He said after the event aired, he went across the street and got tequila drunk.
you have no choice at that point. I mean, has there anyone that's been made a bigger ass on national television than that right there?
It was bad.
Yeah.
And he knows it was bad. He later admitted, he was like, yeah, we kind of whiffed there. But hey, I like the...
hey, you like the effort, right?
I do. Yeah. It's like, we were fired up about that.
And no one will, I mean, because of that, there'll never be something like that again. You could never take the chance on live television of doing something like that.
2 new animals imprisoned at the Oregon Zoo for our pleasure.
Oh, what do we got? What are we poking at?
Orphaned cougar cubs have made their...
Well, then you don't have a choice.
They've made their debut.
Yeah.
No, they don't, because they can't go back into the wild.
They can't go into the wild.
So these two are named, their brother and sister. They're named Link and Nova, and they were brought to the zoo in November. They're settling in well. So cougars stay with their moms for about a year in the wild. Mm-hmm. If you have cougs that get separated from their mom for whatever reason, they will not survive.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have a choice.
They didn't have a choice here. They have to put them on display for our, so we can.
And I will say it, like I have a rough relationship with zoos because I love animals and they're fun to look at, but then I'm like, God. But in this case, this is what zoos are for, because this is better than those animals dying. So. In this part, yes, I'm all for the Link and Nova.
Link and Nova.
And they look adorable. I saw a video of today running around.
Yeah, you know,
and they get each other, and you know.
They look like big cats. I mean, I
oh,
don't,
really?
I don't, besides the
They're
lions.
eating the cats.
And the tigers.
You're not a cougar fan, huh?
I mean, they're okay, but.
Dude, I love
They're not in my top 5 at a zoo.
No,
I've choked a
cougar.
cougar.
It happens. Love them. I mean, it's not the red panda. Allegedly, they have a red panda, but it's high. Look, it's not an otter. It's not the red panda. It's not an elephant. The giraffe. You know what? I'm going to say it's like a solid 9. You know?
I mean, it's good to have.
It's like
filler.
I'm going to say it's like Penn State football, who are also the Nittany. That's where I'm going. The Nittany Lions. Solid 9 to 10.
Polar bears are great.
Yeah, polar bears are great.
The elephants are always a hit.
Always.
Well, now you have little Tula too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little baby elephant. Come on.
Again, the giraffe is criminally underrated.
The giraffe
is
good.
amazing.
Giraffes are great.
Yeah.
The tigers, the lions.
Well, and then you get into the monkeys, the prime. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
dude,
monkeys.
the cougars are way down the list.
I think it's border.
They're way down the list.
I'm not saying
you
way
can't
down.
make a case they're in any of that. They're better than any of that.
They're pretty
You
cute.
can't.
They're pretty cute. Better than the cheetah.
I don't think it is. Cheetahs at
Cheetah's
least look
lame,
cooler.
but the leopard and the jag, that's above the cougar. But you know,
Well, we got stuff going down at Cleveland High School we got to tell you about.
shakedown's happening. Let's go.
Big time. That's next on The Fan.
The home of dirt and spray.
I'm dirt.
This passed in the Senate needs to pass the House, but many think it will pass the House. And so one step closer to the Diamond
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
On 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back. It's in the news, April 2024. Don't you love it when broadcasters they get that nasally?
That's the Brockmeyer, right? It's the
Brockmeyer.
Jim Brockmeyer. I want Swag to be like that. Don't worry, Swag at the party was telling us all about the big hops.
Yeah.
Big hops news.
Well, he had his hops gear on.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking for some inside
Hold on,
hops
everybody.
scoop.
Oh,
of which he gave me some.
Yeah, gave you a little. Well, he was talking to me about the new stadium.
Here's the situation.
I don't think you can bet on hops baseball.
You can't?
Because that's what I was looking. Because I hit him up for UP scoop too.
Oh.
Because I bet on him.
You can't bet on the hop. You can't
I
bet
don't
on
know.
Major League Baseball.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
You can bet on anything.
Does seem like that, but I don't
bet
know.
on like Malaysian monkey tricycle races. You can bet on the hops.
Within the space of a few hours, simple posters with pointed messaging decrying systemic misogyny were suddenly everywhere at Cleveland High School in Southeast Portland this week.
They were gone.
Blanketing walls and bathroom stalls. Jason, just as quickly, the posters, a guerrilla art project spearheaded by senior Fia Ruiz and born from student frustration with what they see at the school's pattern of not addressing careless and threatening behavior by some of its male students, were gone. Pulled down by security guards at the behest of the school's principal.
I'm not going to lie. I did click on this story. And do you know why I clicked on this story?
Maybe you were looking for some new misogynistic comments to make?
No.
Like what the kids are saying?
Oh, that would have been fun.
That would might maybe help you at your home. When
New
you
material?
I'd like that. I could use some new material against the ladies in my house. I am outnumbered. No, when I saw Gorilla Art Project, I really thought
gorillas.
I thought there'd be something about gorillas. I was like, what?
Yeah, why do they throw gorilla in there?
Well, I don't know. Well, gorilla is like it's you know.
So it's like renegade.
Renegade.
Yeah.
But
So
when
it's the GUE or
when I
GEU,
saw that
right?
there was
GUERR.
it's like the Gur versus Gore. When I saw that it was a guerrilla art project that was causing controversy, my first thought was like, is this like a Harambe sort of thing? Is there gorilla peen involved? I need to know. And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh, for God's sakes, it's misogyny.
Not interested.
And then I just
just a little misogyny.
I'm like,
That's a Tuesday for me.
I told you, dumb bitch.
Well,
yeah, I thought we were dealing with guerrilla art.
Look, she was trying to make a statement.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Well, I think it did work.
Well, they tore him down.
Exactly.
Does it work too well?
Yeah, that's what she wanted. But I just wonder when it comes to things like this, because there weren't a lot of details about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I just wonder, is there, like, when you're talking about high school boys.
Yeah, they're jackasses.
Well, we all know they're. Sorry, high school kids, but you're all idiots, and you don't know this yet, but you are.
Yeah, you are.
And you say dumb stuff all the time. Is that misogyny, or is it boys being boys? I know they should be better and could be better, but really, can they? They're idiots. I don't want to make excuses for them, but you know what I'm getting at here?
There's nothing. I do understand, and believe me, there's nothing that makes me roll my eyes more than someone making a bunch of posters to take down the
look,
patriarchy of Cleveland High School. All right, well,
high school's hard,
and,
whether you're male or female.
Exactly.
It sucks.
It's terrible.
So is life.
Your body's awkward. Your hormones are raging.
That's right.
You know, you got bad skin. You know, it's horrible. But
it sucks for everyone.
It does. But again,
and you shouldn't be subjected to misogynistic commentary.
No, you shouldn't. But I also would like to point out that you writing some posters and putting up that I'm going to write this punk rock song. It's going to take down the entire Trump regime. No, it's not. But if it makes you feel better to put up posters and spend your time, more power to you.
Well, what should you do? She is an aloof bitch. What do you do?
I don't know.
What do you do?
But I your posters didn't work.
How do you take action, Jason?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I don't know.
She's a grade A bitch.
I don't know why you take down misogyny, but I just was
high school misogyny, untakedownable.
It really is.
I'm sorry. It is.
It is.
That whiny bitch.
It's undefeated.
It's never gonna change.
No. High school.
And some kids, I
high
know,
school boys are terrible.
I think that.
And you know who's worse than high school boys? High school girls. There's a whole.
Yeah, they're awful to each other.
They're awful to each other.
Yeah, bitch.
This is the bad part. High school boys mean to high school girls. High school girls also mean to high school girls.
No, it's very fair. It's just not misogynistic.
No.
It's just mean.
It's just mean. Yes.
And hurtful.
There's nothing meaner on this planet than a 16-year-old
yeah,
girl.
You all are awful in high school.
Exactly. Everyone. Well, There's no such thing as a high schooler that isn't awful. They just are.
I think there are some kids that are better than others, obviously. It's not all of them.
Girl, you something
Someone
else.
said deport them. Jeez.
God. Deport all high school kids?
Misogyny out. What's the
Not a bad idea.
what's the Parks and Rec? Jail. Right to jail. Fred Armisen came in. He was like from Venezuela or whatever. Jail. No, right to jail. Go.
Oh, no.
All
Oh,
them out of
no.
there.
Well, guys, we can't solve all the world's
No,
problems.
we can't. But you know what you can do? You can make some posters.
You sure can.
It's like
Call
when I-
attention to it.
Every weekend.
Good job.
Every weekend I drive to
Miss
Damascus
Ruiz.
and I see two things. One, like 3 people stand on the 205 bridge with the Ukrainian flag, and then out in Damascus there's one dude that stands outside of his Tesla and he just waves an American and a Trump flag. That's all he does. He just stands on.
Isn't that a he's standing in front of a gun shop?
Everything's Is that a gun shop?
I think I've seen him.
Yeah, you see him right there. It's on the whatever highway that is.
Bearded man?
Yes, that runs into town, and he stands out just on the side of the road, and he waves a trumpet in America, and he's there every weekend. Every Saturday, you'll see him. If you're driving to Damascus, you know who I'm talking about. And I want to pull over sometime and be like, I get it, my man. You love America, you love Trump. No problem. What exactly are you accomplishing here? You're spending every Saturday. What are you doing?
Make America great.
Same
bitch.
thing with the handful of people every Saturday on the bridge with the Ukrainian flag. What exactly are you doing?
No.
And I would tell the lady with her gorilla posters, what are you doing with that?
She's a girl. She's a high school girl.
She's a gal.
Girl.
Yeah.
I would ask you, what are you doing? Do you have a MAGA girlfriend in Damascus or something?
What do you mean?
Well, what the hell are you doing out there?
I can't talk about it.
You have a MAGA girlfriend out there, don't you?
No, that's where I go to jiu-jitsu on the weekends.
In Damascus?
In Damascus.
That doesn't add up. Somebody needs to look into your shenanigans.
You gonna go blow some ducks?
Wow. No. Right there on that main drag. It's right by it's right across the street from the safe.
Yeah, flag!
But if you're on that road, whatever that road is, I'm telling you, look for him. He's there every Saturday.
Yeah, trucks, balls, yeah!
These days I'm gonna pull over and talk to him. But dude, there's gotta be something better to do with your Saturday.
And there's
Pick
your
up
in
a
the
hobby.
news for April 21, 2025, brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. The Hot 55 is next on The Fan.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys.
1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, plenty of playoff action on both the hardwood and the ice tonight. The first game up in the NBA is underway. The Detroit Pistons leading the New York Knicks by 7, 25-18 at the end of the first quarter. Detroit trying to even that series at a game apiece before they head back to the Motor City. Cade Cunningham already has 8 in the first frame. Meanwhile, coming up a little bit later this evening, it's the Clippers and Nuggets in Game 2 of that series, with the Clippers trying to even things up after letting a big lead slip in Game 1. That'll be at 7 o'clock over on TNT. Meanwhile, on the ice, a pair of games already underway. The Capitals and Canadiens already at the first intermission. Washington is up 1-0 behind an Alexander Ovechkin power play goal. The Blues and Jets are currently scoreless with a power play pending for the Blues. Coming up a little bit later tonight, Avalanche and Stars, Game 2, with Dallas looking to even that series. And the Oilers and Kings, for the 4th year in a row, going to battle in the first round of the playoffs. Game 1 of that series at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, The Fan. It's 5 o'clock.
Come on. Thank you all for being here and for all of you tuning in across the country.
This is Primetime on Draft Week.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Get $2,000 off a new energy-efficient system now through May 31st. Call or visit aeheatingandcooling.com.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080.
That's a tribute to you.
The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Monday at your Sports Bros. Rob and Suk, I'm Rob. Big Suk's right over there.
Right here.
Look at him. Short timer. He's off to Italy tonight.
Yeah, I've actually paid way more attention than I thought I was going to today, to be quite honest with you. But, we'll see how this goes for the next 2 hours. But as of right now, I'm still engaged.
Ryan Buckley is here.
And it makes me sad.
Sorry.
His chance to shine this week.
That's right.
After you leave. Andrew Nemec will be in here on Thursday for the draft.
His time to shine. This is like his Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've met someone who likes the draft more than he does. I will say that Juan Soto just hit a 3-run home run against these stupid Phillies. Oh, I love it.
About time he did something.
I starting to get it cooking. Hey, my Mets are on a roll, man. Soto's got it going a little bit. So, anywho.
Didn't he step in it the other day?
Well, yeah, he was.
What
Well,
did
he's
he
off.
say?
He got off to a horrible start in like the first 10 to 12 games, and then someone asked him about it, and he said, "Well, last year I had the best hitter in baseball behind me." And he basically said that it was harder to hit with the crappy Mets than it was because they didn't have Aaron Judge. The problem with that is Pete Alonso's hitting behind him, and Pete Alonso's off to one of the best starts in Major League Baseball.
So shut up,
Yeah,
Juan.
zip it, Juan Soto.
Is he a donkey?
Yeah, he is. Let me just state for the record, I love Juan Soto, and I'm glad he's a Met. But if he wasn't on the New York Mets, I would regularly tell you that dude is a giant douche canoe.
Could they
But he's our
sew
douche
his mouth shut?
I would like that.
For
if he could-
$760 million, you'd think they'd be allowed to.
Yeah, but no,
Right.
he will be a guy, I promise you, that the Mets over the years, Mets fans, will have a love-hate relationship.
I've already heard some Mets fans calling him Juan Soso.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
But
what I'm gonna start
he's
calling
got to go. The last handful,
He's good.
He's picking
and
it
they're
up.
good.
Yes.
Whatever.
And again.
But he's
Oh,
overpaid.
They overturned it.
Not a home run.
Yeah, they called
Why?
it foul.
So
Oh.
he is just so-so.
It went right over the foul pole, and I guess they.
That's the very definition of so-so.
You couldn't put it a foot to the left, Juan. For God's sakes, he's gonna strike out now.
Well, coming up tonight in the club, I have news of a lion attack.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not good.
Is a lion attack ever good? I mean,
Well,
has like Hitler ever been?
sometimes we root for the lion attack,
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like if Hitler had been mauled by a lion,
or like the big game hunter.
the
guys.
big game hunter, yeah.
In this instance,
That's
you don't really ever hear about this.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but not a lot of lions on our soil.
Well, it's not here, dummy. But you don't really ever hear about it where lions exist in the wild. And I have so out of the entire story that I will lay out to you, it's really quite sad.
Yeah.
But the lion got to eat, I guess.
Oh,
I mean, there's always
dear.
a silver lining.
Find something good.
But there's one thing in the story that is absolutely perplexing to me.
Okay.
And we'll see if you can pick it out.
I also have something to discuss because something landed in my living room this weekend that I was not expected. And it was a big fan of dead animals, and we need to discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, suddenly a lot to get to.
Not prepared. Not prepared for hot dead animal like news right on my doorstep, but there it was.
So that'll be the club, 6 to 7. Coming up this hour, we'll get back to hot NBA playoff talk. We have to discuss the greatness that is Russell Westbrook. And listen, I hate to do this, okay?
Then don't, but do it.
No, we're going to do it.
All right, what are we doing?
Because we have courage here.
All right, what are we having courage on?
I cannot name this segment anything else, so this is not my fault.
Okay.
We will have a segment that will be titled, Put a Big Black Baby in Me. I'm sorry. Black Dawn.
I think I
No,
blocked
you.
it out of
What's the name of the segment again?
Put a big black baby in it.
Can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah. Tune in to find
I
out.
can wait to see where it goes. I feel like
No,
we
I
should
can't
wait
wait.
a long time to see where this goes.
Right now, the Hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions,
Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
and hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food. Discover Victorico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victoricos.com.
Why are you going there?
Number 5.
Boston Marathon means early baseball at Fenway, where the Red Sox got 7 strong from Walker Buehler in a 4-2 win over the crappy-ass White Sox. Chicago is now 5-17.
It's not good.
The only team worse is the Rockies. As for the marathon, we had 31-year-old Kenyan Sharon Lokedi set the course record. 2 hours, 17 minutes, 22 seconds. And by the way, Rock Chalk. Apparently she runs for Kansas.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me that a Kenyan good at marathon running.
And in a stunner on the men's side, Kenyan John Corer takes the title.
Who saw it? Who could have seen it?
Second
Nobody.
fastest time in race history. He ran 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 44 seconds.
What is that per mile?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. We've talked about this. That's
crazy.
That is the most shocking thing to me, is that they're able to run that pace for 26 miles.
2 hours. So let's say you're playing 9 holes.
Mm-hmm.
That's about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Some guy just ran a marathon in the time you played 9 holes.
Number 4.
I can't process that. I did see someone the other day that ran a marathon in a casino. They started drinking and just wandering the casino until they had done 26 miles.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of a fun little bit.
UCLA quarterback Joey Aguilar is now entering the transfer portal after the Bruins landed Nico Imalalela.
Nada gonna play for Tennessee.
By the way, it looks like that was a 4-minute and 52-second mile time.
That's
for 26.2 miles.
That's just that
It's
is
not
the-
even human.
It is the most amazing accomplishment to me in all of athletics.
The fun twist here is that Tennessee is interested in Joey Aguilar.
I love this.
He set school records at App State before transferring to UCLA. He's only been on campus there for 3 months. He was projected to be their starter, but now that UCLA got Nico, he may go to Tennessee.
I want this Aguilar kid to go to Tennessee, lead them to an 11-win season, an SEC title, and Nico to go to UCLA, and they're going to win 4 games. So enjoy your time at UCLA.
I heard, well, I didn't hear it. I read someone on Twitter,
Number 3.
a college football guy whose name I can't remember, say the most perfect thing here would be that they both, one goes to Tennessee, one goes to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
They meet in a bowl game and they both opt out.
Yes.
Cherry on top.
The perfect microcosm of our times.
Civil suit in a Nevada court accuses former NFL tight end turned media personality Shannon Sharp of rape and sexual battery. The accuser was in a consensual relationship with Sharp, but maintains he was abusive, filmed them without her knowledge, and raped her twice. He claims this is nothing more than a shakedown. She wants $50 million.
Whoa.
Her attorney is Tony Busby. He's the same guy behind the massage therapists of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Don't know what to make of these. He said, she said, $50 million, a ton of money. I'm going to I'll punt on this until some more details come out. But yikes.
What if there was a text message from her to him that said, I want a big black baby in me? What?
Stop it.
It's true.
Stop it.
These are facts.
Stop it.
These are sports facts. More on that later.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
As expected, Cooper Flagg announces he is entering the NBA draft. He will be the number 1 pick. 3 teams with a 14% chance of landing that pick in the draft lottery next month are Utah, Charlotte, and Washington. Blazers lost their coin flip with the Suns, therefore they fall to the 10th best odds. They now have a 3.7% chance of the top pick, falling dramatically from 3.8%.
Oh, man, that one coin flip. I still can't believe that. What a wasted season to end up basically with the 10th pick. So depressing.
You accomplished nothing.
Yeah, you tanked for Donovan Clingan.
Hey, but those 2 weeks were really fun.
But you're exactly.
You're nothing but a hater.
No, actually, I'm rooting
No,
for
you're
them.
a hater. It's just only haters say that.
You were willing to tank for Scoot Henderson and Donovan Clingan, but you're not willing to tank for Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey or Harper's kid.
Sean's had to coach for his job.
Makes
now they got
sense.
that arrow trending up.
Totally makes sense.
Come too far together to stop now. Let's do it. That's it, baby. Shut it from the rooftops.
America's #1 fighting force.
Number 1.
My #1 fan.
Number 1.
Number 1.
We have 2 games tonight in the NBA playoffs, New York and Denver. Both at home, looking to take 2-0 series leads on the Pistons and Clippers. Meanwhile, Damian Lillard upgraded to questionable for Game 2 of the Bucks series with the Pacers. That game is tomorrow. Elsewhere, the Hawks have fired general manager Landry Fields. 3-season tenure included a losing record and just 1 playoff appearance. And from the world of stick and puck, Kraken have fired their coach, Dan Bilsman. Bilesman.
Yeah, it was not a good year.
He sucked.
Well, they thought that maybe the Kraken were on a nice upward trajectory like the Knights when they came in, and then it's been not so good. So he out.
What a loser.
Yeah, he's a 10th straight year. We already fired our coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? You can get Dan Bilesman.
Oh, we got a new one who's actually he was better. We fired the old one midway through the year.
There's your Hot 5-5. It's brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, 19 locations across Oregon and Washington, now in Lackamas Square in Vancouver. Find a location near you at victorricos.com. When you think of flavor, think of Victor Rico's. Back to our NBA playoff reach around next on The Fan.
Oregon Prime Time with Isaac and Sue
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right, back to our NBA playoff reach around. We spoke in the first hour about the Lakers loss, Steph Curry and the Warriors, that big dude from the Rockets who we like now.
He's suddenly become everyone's favorite player.
Yeah,
Even
he's
though
great.
The Rockets suck.
The Rockets definitely don't suck, but they had a rough game for Nuggets.
Yeah.
And I think we always sort of, I think we just naturally, any team that fires their coach but then goes to the playoffs, like we don't really give the interim much chance, you know?
No. Well, there's a reason why. I mean, you fire your coach. I mean, things aren't going great.
Right, but...
Well, and they fired him right with a handful of games left in the season.
With Denver, you know, I mean, I don't know. Should we be taking them more seriously, even though they have an interim coach?
I mean,
Jokic and...
Yeah, I mean, look, you have the best player in the world, right? So when you have the best player in the world, you're always in it. But I think when you look at the roster construction, and this is kind of half the problem, is that, you know, that Malone was griping about, is that they've been cheap and haven't brought in the guys to surround the best player in the league. And then you're dealing with Jamal Murray that may or may not be completely healthy. It just doesn't feel like it's there. Take him seriously, sure, but I just it doesn't feel like that's a real contending team. But they stole one from the Clippers.
Well, the big thing there is Adelman having to decide between Russell Westbrook and Michael Porter at the end of games.
Exactly, right?
And Westbrook is just, he is so messy.
Yep.
And
he
crappy.
Played more minutes than Porter did.
But yet, he's amazing. Like, he can make amazing plays.
Westbrook is
his
He's
comp?
the worst best player in NBA history.
Give me his comp. You know, the other day we were doing the NFL NBA comps.
Yeah.
Who is Russell Westbrook's NFL comp?
Well, I think that was the Kyler Murray was Trae Young, because Russell Westbrook he's way better than Trae Young. I mean, he's an MVP for God. It's like Cam Newton.
Is he Lamar Jackson?
Nah, Lamar's better. I mean, Lamar's truly special. I think it's like Cam Newton. Cam Newton won an MVP. Russell won an MVP. They put up ridiculous numbers, and they do things that you're like, oh my God, not many people can do. Yet at the end of the day, you don't really want the ball in their hands with the game on the line. Although it worked out well, you know, for Denver this time. The guy came through in the clutch. But it's that. He's kind of an idiot. He dresses like a jackass. He thinks he's way better than he is, even though he is an MVP. I feel very good about that. He's Cam Newton.
He's so weird because he tries to lose it for you just as much as he can help you win it.
See Cam Newton.
So he's like, because they did list of him in the last few minutes of the game. Okay, so he's in there and Porter Jr. is not.
Yeah.
Offensive rebound put back, 3:37 left in the fourth quarter. Missed transition layup leads to Clipper free throws on the other end with 3 minutes left. Wide open layup off well-timed cut into the paint, 2:52 left. Okay, 24 seconds left. He hits the corner three to take the lead. Discombobulated final possession of regulation without getting a shot off. Misses a layup at the rim that turns into Nuggets free throws with 10 seconds left in overtime. And he forced the turnover on the inbound play on James Harden with 9 seconds left.
Yeah.
So a lot of good,
a lot of bad.
Some bad.
Yeah, it's just, he's a roller coaster.
He is so messy.
Yes. And at this point in his career, and maybe this is ultimately why I don't take Denver seriously. Dude, they play like 7 guys. And one of those guys they have to rely on is Russell Westbrook. And I'm just not convinced that when you have to rely on 35 minutes of Russell Westbrook, that is going to go your way.
Well, but they haven't really all year. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, I have not watched a ton of Nuggets, but yeah, they play like a 7-man rotation, and Westbrook is a big part of that.
He's essentially supposed to lead their second unit when Jokic comes off the floor and like be a big catalyst for what they do, but it's hit and miss.
I mean, the only guys, like, I'm looking down the bench, they played Peyton Watson 14 minutes. They played Jalen Pickett 5, and Westbrook played 34.
But Porter was like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Went 1 for 4. Like, absolutely non-existent. Non-existent.
Yeah. I
don't know. They're weird.
They are weird.
But you're right. You probably shouldn't worry about them.
They have the best player in the league, and that gives you hope. But I just don't think that they are nearly balanced enough when you look at some of the better teams. And so I just don't think a lot of people have faith in him. Someone's saying Westbrook is Brett Favre. I could see that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah, that's pretty good comp.
Uber talented and will throw for 375 yards, but also 2 of the worst interceptions you've ever seen.
And as he aged, the bad got more significant than the good.
Yeah. I wouldn't want Russell Westbrook. How many times now? Like Westbrook has a little bit of that Carmelo Anthony feel. He's moved around so much at this point because he's still useful and he's still a mercenary. But again, when you turn to Russell Westbrook, it's because you don't have other options. You're like, I don't know. And you kind of have to clear the floor for him a little bit and just be like, because when he's on the floor, he still thinks that he's an MVP.
By the way, watching the Astros game right now, they're playing the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And they have the great Kelvin Sampson in the booth.
Oh.
And he is wearing an old red ratty Houston polo.
Oh my!
Much like he's coaching.
Yeah, it's
now they've thrown an Astros jersey over it,
but you can still see it.
But it's there.
Yeah, he's wearing a polo shirt underneath the
under
jersey?
his Astros jersey.
Boy,
yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I don't think he came with the Astros jersey.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Gave it to him.
There's not a rougher look than when you're wearing the collared shirt underneath a sports jersey. So which is worse, the collared shirt underneath the basketball jersey or the collared shirt underneath the baseball jersey?
Well, I'm going to go basketball because basketball,
sleeveless.
Well, I guess you can make a case that sleeveless is good.
Yeah.
Because you already have sleeves on the other one.
I just always enjoy when you see the business guy at the game and he buys the jersey. He's like, I'll just put this right over my work attire and no one will be the wiser.
Always an old white guy, isn't it?
Always.
All right, well, tonight the Pistons lead the Knicks. They are late second quarter. Pistons are up 8. We got Clippies, Nugs. And then tomorrow...
Hey, by the way, both of those games, but the Pistons and the Knicks and the Clippers Nuggets were great game ones.
Yeah.
No one notices the Pistons and the Knicks because, well, it's Pistons and the Knicks. But like you said, the Clippers Nugget game was bananas.
Tomorrow we have Bucks, Pacers. Damian Lillard now questionable.
Yeah. And I don't know if you watched any of it, but the Bucks got their asses handed.
I told you, my Pacers.
Yeah, dude, they're
nasty.
Drilled in that game. And I'd like to know that Doc Rivers, in rare Doc Rivers form, coming right out of the gate. You want to talk about who's the Russell Westbrook of NBA coaches? I give you Doc Rivers.
Amen.
Yeah, he is. Well, earlier we were saying death, taxes, and overreacting to a game 1 of a best of 7.
Mm-hmm.
How about death, taxes, and Doc Rivers in the playoffs?
Exactly. You know what you're getting.
God. And yet they'll probably win the series and make people think they're going to make a run and then
we'll see what
bow
happens.
out with a 3-1 lead.
We'll see what happens. But they got drilled by the mighty Indiana Pacers.
Then we have Grizzlies Thunder. Should be a barn burner there. And then Timberwolves Lakers game 2.
That one I'm excited about to see if there's a...
Lakers should bounce back, right?
I would think so. Memphis, by the way, lost by 51.
Yeah. You know what? I looked at a live bet on that game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. They were up. I think they were up 11. It was early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the live bet line was 19. And I went, oh my God, 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, they won by 51.
What is the spread on this?
15.
Yeah, 14.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't touching the Grizzlies.
No? Oh, I was going to say, you're not touching that. I'll take a...
Nah, I don't like...
There's no value in 14.5?
Well, in hindsight, there was value on 19.
That's what I'm saying. I like this. But I'm going to wait and see if Memphis can get out to a hot start, get up like 10-2, and then live bet. Get that line down to like 11.
Yeah, they're not that stupid. They ain't taking that thing down.
Lakers by 5.5. A lot of people believe in LA.
I bet you Laker money is heavy at the sports books.
Yeah. 5.5 LA favorite.
Heavy.
I might like the points there.
Yeah, I was going to say, give me Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, they could win that game outright. Give me the points.
For sure. That's a lot of points.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Considering that they just got drilled. And Luka played, I mean, Luka had 37 and 8, and they still got drilled. But again, that's Luka's fault if you listen to the national talking heads.
All right, it's time now for a segment regrettably titled,
man.
Put a Big Black Baby in Me.
Just not ready for that segment. I'm not. Not ready to have a...
Well, you have 4 minutes.
Got to brace myself.
Feels great, baby.
There's your boy.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Can we get
He's
him?
got the Houston...
Like, that's the Jordan brand. Can we... Someone out at Nike, can we get him A real polo
Well,
shirt?
I think it's what you guys brought up before, where it's like, I think that this is, he just prefers this one from 4 or 5 years ago. I bet he has newer stuff. He just doesn't wear it.
Yeah, he wants it this way.
Can someone go into
Someone
his
needs to intervene, though.
Yeah, just intervene. Send him so many things that he has
So
no
much
choice.
things.
So much things.
All right, here's Buck with sports.
Carlson. This is Draft Week on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on the Fan. Lots of playoff action, both on the hardwood and on the ice tonight. In the NBA right now, the Detroit Pistons up 50-42 on the New York Knicks just about 2 minutes before halftime as Detroit looks to even that series before they head back to the Motor City. Coming up in the late game tonight, you'll get the Clippers and the Nuggets once again. Game 2 for that one after the Clippers blew the lead in Game 1. The Clippers on the road, a 1.5-point favorite this evening. Meanwhile, on the ice, pair of games underway already. The Capitals just took a 2-goal lead on the Montreal Canadiens. That is with about 7 minutes to go in the second period. Meanwhile, it's the end of the first period between the Jets and Blues. The Blues tied it up with a power play goal to make it 1-1 before the break. The Seattle Kraken have fired head coach Dan Bilesma after just one season with the franchise. The second year in a row, they fired their head coach after just one season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge. A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Carlson pitches it back for Dylan Strong. Their leader in points in the regular season with 82. Ovechkin scores! The great eight! The power play goal! And a 1-0 Washington lead.
Okay.
His 73rd playoff goal.
Pretty good.
Most, I believe, of any active player. That would make sense because he's the all-time leading goal scorer.
Did Gretzky even have one?
I think he may have scored one playoff goal.
Let's go to Buckley on this.
Well, he's had plenty of playoff goals. The question is how many cups.
Some say 0.
Some thought 0.
Yeah.
Battery Exchange, who's leading the charge? Mention code BXT10 at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase. Online at batteryexchange.com.
Hey, it's Stuart here from my favorite gym, Crunch Fitness. Now through April 30th, it's just 5 cents to enroll on Crunch's premier membership
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
On 1080 The Fan.
All right, now to the Shannon Sharp story. Now, this one, she's suing him for $50 million.
Yeah. And is using a high-profile attorney, Busby, who some say is a slimeball or ambulance chaser type guy. He's represented a bunch of the women that went against Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and I don't know what to make of him because that's a legit story. Like, those are not.
No, it's like 26 plus women. But
those are not made up.
No, but
he represents all of them. So that leads me to believe, okay, he's like the Gloria Allred of men or of women. Yeah. Well, I guess she represents women too, but you know what I mean.
He's the new version.
Yeah, so I don't know what to make of this guy, but he's kind of a red flag.
Yeah.
You know, when you see him, you're like...
Well, Gloria Allred's a little bit too, in that, like, you want to believe people, but at the same time, some of those lawsuits, and you got to be careful because, you know, it's he said, she said, but sometimes with her, and in this cases like this, a lot of it does come off to some people as merely a shakedown and a smear campaign and give me money and I'll go away.
Well, here's laid out for you. This is the girl that was in the Shannon Sharp famous...
No, she was not. She left. She wanted to leave.
No, this is the girl who got upset when when that other thing happened. She had been seeing him.
Oh, I see.
And he had this other dalliance that went
gotcha.
live on Instagram.
I misread that. It says she wanted to end things following his now infamous Instagram live streaming incident.
Yes. Because it was with someone else.
Yes. She claims he raped her right after that. So they met at a gym in LA in 2023.
He was like 56. She was 20 or 21, something like that. They
began a consensual relationship.
Yes.
She stated he was controlling and verbally abusive throughout their time together. Then she wanted to end it. She then claims he raped her. In addition to issuing denials, Sharp's attorney stated that prior to filing her suit, she actually secretly recorded him, edited the video, and is now using it in an attempt to shake him down for the $50 million. So here is what Sharp released today. And it's something here. So.
It is something.
1 second.
Yeah.
So he put this on his Twitter. It's a statement by Lanny J. Davis, counsel to Shannon Sharp. Quote, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while we're...
Yeah.
End quote. Yeah. That is from Gabriella. So they name her, by the way. She's Jane Doe in the lawsuit, but they name her. Her name is Gabriella Zuniga.
Mm-hmm.
This is a text to Shannon Sharp, October 7th, 2023. So that was not Shannon Sharp to the attorney.
No.
Or the attorney to Shannon Sharp. Wouldn't that have been something?
No.
He accidentally leaks his attorney's text where they're doing it.
Whoops.
Shannon Sharp's secretly gay.
Yeah. There is a bunch of the texts, and they are a little...
She says, quote, I know you miss this big, juicy ass. $25K for each cheek.
I ate ass.
End quote.
Yeah.
All right. And she also said... Well, actually, there's more, but I'll get to that in a second. He then writes, this lawsuit, filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharp for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Miss Zuniga presented Mr. Sharp with a secretly recorded video of a consensual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. She then refuses to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharp's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Miss Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharp that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests.
Yeah, and some of these after the alleged... She claims that he raped her on 2 occasions, but these messages come after those alleged rapes. So, you know, I never know what to make of these things because you want to believe people, but $50 million and basically, you know, hey, you pay us and this goes away. You refuse to pay, so we continue to sue. And then supposedly after you rape someone, they're sending you a message that's asking for $25,000 per cheek of their juicy butt. That, you know, it seems problematic. This is like the Trevor Bauer
feel.
Yes.
This one feels like bull.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
And I thought Shannon Sharp was married. He's not married.
No, he's not.
I thought he was married.
No.
Which was the big the whole thing about that whole him grunting like a horse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Remember that vid?
I do remember that vid.
Well, yeah, his whole thing was like, I'm a healthy adult male just engaging in healthy activities.
But I thought the whole problem with that was that he was married. He's not even married.
No, the problem
So
with it
who
was
cares?
that it was live on Instagram.
I know he didn't mean to do it.
Well, look.
Or maybe he did.
Shannon, I think Shannon likes to have a good time.
Well, he's got some
ladies.
problematic stuff in his past, too,
Yes.
with exes. And
Yes.
he's got a couple kids, and nobody knows who the mom of the kids is. Or the two daughters, anyway.
you know.
It's been a wild ride with Shannon Sharp.
Wild
but in
ride.
this instance, I mean, come on, man. She says, I want to put my in your and then marry you.
Yeah.
She says, that's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. This is a text message to him.
Yeah.
These are after the alleged dates of the rapes.
The rapes.
You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. God. And by the way, if I'm Shannon Sharp, bro, red flags.
Run the other direction,
Yes.
dummy.
What are you doing?
Well, she's an Instagram hot, so he's 56. She was 21. They met at a gym. She's an Instagram hot. I know what she's doing.
Well, I know you know what she's doing. I'm saying, Sharp, wake up, dude. There are other hots.
Yeah.
This one, those things that she is saying right there, you should never touch her again. You should turn those over to an attorney and protect yourself.
Problem with that is, you know what they say about the crazy ones. You know, it's
the hot crazy index.
Hot crazy index.
Dude.
Now you're getting sued for $50 million.
Up and to the right.
I will say it's a bold thing to do to file
$50 million.
file a lawsuit for $50 million when you're sending someone text that you claim is abusing you and that has raped you.
Well, it just screams of like, hey, how about you negotiate with me and I'll take $5 million.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
And he ain't going to do it. And
Well,
I
actually,
hope
she
he
wants-
doesn't.
And by the way, how did we go from 25 a cheek to 50 million? You want to talk about inflation? My goodness. Should have just given 25 for each cheek. You would have gotten.
She lowballed her own cheeks.
I know. 25.
That's a mistake.
By the way, that's a different tax bracket that I'm in. 20 for a cheek? 25,000? That's a Sonata.
Oh, I just assumed it was 25 million for each cheek.
No, 25K.
She said 25K.
25K.
Well, now the lawsuit's for 25 million a cheek.
BTJ can't get a hold of that because if she's asking for 25 a cheek, it's a lot.
Well, I had to do it. There is your segment titled "Put a Big Black Baby in Me." Black, please. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
unfortunately, this remember Zion fell victim to this. He had that
Yeah, Mariah Mills.
That crazy lady. Who was it? You know, he got off. It didn't really stick, but who's the Seahawks' big rookie defensive tackle?
Oh yeah.
The kid out of Texas. Why can't I think of his name?
It's escaping me too. Was it Brown?
No. Why am I drawing a?
Because you're an idiot.
I am an idiot. Why am I drawing a total blank on this?
His name is
Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy.
He had one of these. He had a transsexual Instagram model that outed him and released a bunch of his messages, and those were also very graphic too. But
And he had just recently posted on Instagram him proposing to his fiance.
Why are you going to his fiance? And then there was a trans influencer Instagram model that was like, "Whoa, check this out! It's insane." Yeah, you know those Instagram man. You start sending those Instagram DMs. They're out. Those are out there forever. Where in this case, you know, till you settle a $50 million lawsuit. Again.
Now, see, here's where she's. Well, I don't want to call her smart, but here's where these things often go.
Yeah.
It's cheaper for him
to
just settle with her. Give her a little bit of scratch and that's what's it's not smart, it's just really it's just the system.
It's the system. But I hope that if he didn't do this, and I would tend to think that this doesn't really sound I hope he fights it. I hope he does. And he said he will. He's like, "No, man, I'm not going to get shook down by this." Maybe does he come back and offer the 25 a cheek? 50K.
Hey, that's what you said originally.
50K.
I got get it in.
Shannon Sharp. I think he just
I'll get it in.
What an animal.
Yeah, he is. He was. When I was in Denver, my brief time, he was well known. Let's just say that. Shannon was well known amongst the Denver ladies community. Like to have a good time. Look up his grunts if you doubt me.
I think we have him in the system. I'm looking for him.
His grunts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're actually going to play the grunts?
The grunts are hilarious.
Gross.
Oh, that's beautiful, Rob. That's just...
No, it's not. You think Rick Riz
Oh,
and his
my
wife?
gosh.
Do you think that's the...
Don't.
Honey,
Shannon Shaw was having sex.
What?
That was Stephen A.
Caitlin Clark is white.
Stephen A.
Does he make all statements in that way?
I think maybe we should start doing that. I want to start making blatant statements and just yelling.
Isaac Rupp is great.
A healthy, active male.
It's him defending himself.
Do we have the grunts or what?
I'm looking for him. I don't know what they were. We didn't have him
I mean,
for
we
our
don't
show.
want
I'm
those.
trying to find him.
They're not. Speak for yourself.
We don't want that.
Shannon Shaw was having sex.
We've got it. Thank you.
NFL draft rumors, they've begun. Next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Eugene, Oregon, Titletown, USA, at least in the Big Ten. Ducks winning their 5th Big Ten championship since joining the conference over the weekend. Women's golf taking it home.
Yeah, they're good.
Kiara Romero also won the individual competition. She finished the tournament 7 under par, but the team, automatic bid to the NCAA regionals. Because they won the title.
Yeah, she's good. They're good.
Is there anything they can't do? Although we looked it up, and weren't they terrible at like rowing?
I think that's right. And they're not very good at soccer.
Tennis, I think, as well. But in golf,
but yeah, 5 titles since football season. Come on,
fantastic.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
It's back, and it's sure to sell out fast. Your local Toyota dealers present the 11th Annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club on Tuesday, June 24th. Brought to you by Henderson & Daughter Windows and Doors and Philbrook Law, Accident and Injury Lawyers. Choose from the morning or afternoon round. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Pelican Brewing Company, Battery Exchange, and Maestro Dobel Tequila. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
If you're considering new construction and want it done right and fast by a team that's focused on innovation, collaboration, and creativity, you want Mods PDX. At Mods PDX, we craft beautiful, sustainable, energy-efficient buildings of the highest quality. Our modular approach means your project can be completed faster than traditional construction, and our team of uniquely qualified architectural and trade professionals have the expertise and experience to make your vision a reality. Visit us today at modspdx.com.
Today is game day. It's a Beavers versus Bulldogs baseball showdown at 5:30 on Portland CW and streaming on Coin Plus. Your Oregon State Beavers play host to Gonzaga University at Goss Stadium in Corvallis. Watch live at 5:30 on Portland.
think I've discovered some audio for tomorrow's program.
You stumbled. Is it involving cheeks?
It
Cheeks,
involves
grunts,
twins.
big babies being placed in people.
And I'm still trying to figure out if it's real.
I saw this circulating before, and I wasn't sure, and I didn't have time to kind of look.
Yeah, we
Buck
need
was
to.
afraid of getting ball sacked again.
Well,
I
have
should
been.
be.
Yeah, he should be, and I am quite. I don't know.
There's a lot.
I don't really know what's going on.
We need to research that, and if that's real, we're playing it. That's fantastic. The NFL draft rumors have begun. Jace?
Yes.
Of course, you don't care. You don't even. Do they even cover the NFL draft in Italy?
I'm guessing not. I don't think NFL is.
You guys going to go get a beer at Sbarro's and watch the NFL draft in Rome?
I don't know the time difference. Were they 9 hours ahead of us? I think.
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one going
East Coast. Yeah, I think it's 9 hours ahead. I'm sure at night I will keep abreast of the NFL draft. See what happens.
Well, they're talking about a team trading up to get Jackson Dart.
I will say that I saw that it's the first time in years. I mean, it's I want to say it's like 2004 that we're at this point in the draft, and we've yet to have a first-round pick traded. Everyone owns their first-round pick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that'll change, but the truth of the matter is there's just not a lot of prospects that people want. I mean, most people at this point, and remember, draft is consents. It's like groupthink, right? So it only takes one team to view someone differently than others, and stuff can change. Most people think there's only about 4 to 5 real elite players in this draft. And then after that, the difference basically between 6 and 30, there's not much difference. Or in the case of like, if you think you're getting a guy at 25, you can probably get the same guy in most people's boards at 40. So in order to get drafts, or in order to get trades to move up, there has to be someone that you think is worthy of moving up. And right now there's really not. So
Well, the one that is out there is that Jackson Dart is who the Giants are targeting.
But certainly not.
But not at 3.
No. So the idea is that there's not a quarterback outside of Cam Ward, including Shedeur Sanders, that you would want in the top 3 or 4. So the idea is for one of these teams that needs a quarterback, Cam Ward's going to go number 1 to Tennessee. And then after that, if you're the Giants or the Browns, do you take the elite pass rusher? Do you take the elite tight end? Do you take one of the elite offensive tackles? And then you trade back up into the draft, let's say somewhere in the teens or in the 20s, and grab your quarterback, whether that's Shedeur Sanders if he falls, although I don't think he would fall that far. But the idea is if Jackson Dart is the next guy on the board, you always want to get a quarterback in the first round, even if it's with the last pick in the first round, a la Lamar Jackson, because you get an extra year of cost control. But look, if you're talking about Shuck or Jackson Dart or one of these other guys, like you're now just grabbing at straws, because in any other year, none of these guys would sniff the first round. I mean, let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders in a lot of drafts would be a borderline first round pick at all, let alone someone that could go 2 or 3.
Well, they're talking about Brian Daboll really liking Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll trade up and get him.
Well, and if you're Brian Daboll, you got to do something, because you're about to get your ass fired. So if you think Jackson Dart is your savior, I mean, good luck. But you're not gonna take Jackson Dart at number 3. So the draft will be very interesting, because you'll see what Cleveland and New York, who both need quarterbacks, they're sitting there at 2 and 3. Cam Ward goes 1. Does Shedeur Sanders go 2 and 3? And if he doesn't, where does that slide? Because New England doesn't need one. Jacksonville doesn't need one. The Raiders at 6.
Sounds like they're heavy on Genty.
Yep. And then you go all the way down. New Orleans at 9. Is there something there? Or at that point, if he gets down and we're now in the 16, 17 range, now you got Seattle at 18. They just signed Darnold, but is that an option? But you get into 18, 19. Now is when you take a look of, does someone try to come up if Shedeur Sanders is still there? And then when you get into the 20s and into the 30s, that's when maybe a Jackson Dart. Can you move up with Kansas City or Philadelphia or Buffalo, 30, 31, 32? Can you, and teams that don't have specific needs? I mean, if you're Philly, Kansas City, and Buffalo, your teams are set. So can you get an extra pick by letting someone move up into that to take a Jackson Dart? But as of right now, no movement in the draft, and maybe not a lot of movement is going to happen again because there's not value there in moving up.
All right, well, that's it for sports. We've got Lion attack news. Someone is dead, Jace.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not.
Unless they asked.
Oh no.
They did not.
No.
They got eaten by a lion.
Like that kid, remember the kid in I think it was the San Francisco Zoo that was taunting the tiger it was tiger and was like throwing pine cones at him. Kind of had that one coming.
Then the
tiger jumped
tiger
out.
pulled him in there.
The tiger jumped out and used, I think, his friend's legs to pull himself up out of the cage, and then
Yeah, well, this isn't that.
No, it's not that.
So we'll get to that story to kick off the club next on The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, a full slate of playoff games in both the NBA and the NHL. Right now in the NBA, the Eastern Conference game is going on. They just started the second half out at Madison Square Garden. The Detroit Pistons leading the New York Knicks 62-53 as the Pistons try to even that series before taking it back to Detroit. Cade Cunningham leading the way for the Pistons. He's got 22 points and 9 boards. Meanwhile, the Western Conference game coming up tonight, the Clippers visiting the Nuggets, trying to even that series before it goes back to L.A. Clippers dropped a big lead in the first game to lose that one. They are 1.5-point road favorites this evening when they tip it off at 7 on TNT. Meanwhile, on the ice, a pair of games underway. The Capitals already with a 2-0 lead on the Montreal Canadiens in Game 1 of that series. They are at the second intermission currently. Alexander Ovechkin with a power play goal to get the scoring started there. Meanwhile, the Blues and Jets are late in the second period. That one is tied 1 goal apiece. The Avs and Stars do battle at 6:30 on ESPN, while the Oilers and Kings, for the 4th year in a row, open the playoffs against each other. That one starts at 7 o'clock over on ESPN2, Game 1 of that series. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. The following show may contain adult themes not suitable for children.
Shut the hell up.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk.
It does go well with a chicken.
I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter. Full disclosure, Morty, it's not. Temporary superintelligence is just a side effect of the mega seeds dissolving in your rectal cavity. Oh, man. Yeah. And once those seeds wear off, you're going to lose most of your motor skills, and you're also going to lose a significant amount of brain functionality for 72 hours, Morty. Starting right about now.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Right in the butt.
You know, I hope we elect to kick ass is what I hope we do.
Not from the bottom of the well, mechanic, as Power Key has got... What's going on now?
Come on, you dumbass. Eat me. What does giraffe sound like?
You can't just flop that thing out on national TV and be like, hey, check this thing out.
Oh no. Feeling
China. As are Asians. You do it anymore, you're gonna have problems. Everything's computer. I'm really rich. It's called rain. It comes down from heaven. It goes drip, drip, drip. I love Tesla.
I don't know which one's my favorite, but right now Tesla is.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. Now whenever I see a Tesla, I have to proclaim out loud, I love Tesla. There's a guy
I love cows.
Like maybe 3-4 blocks that I walk by every day now, and he has a Tesla, and he's recently purchased a giant Cybertruck.
I love Tesla.
And every time I see him, I think to myself, "Oh my God, you're a douche."
Everything's computer.
I yell out loud, "I love Tesla."
I saw the first, what do you call the big trucks?
The Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I saw the first Cybertruck used for a company.
Oh,
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
like
some.
The
Yeah, they
name
had it
on
all
or whatever.
painted blue, and they had their logo on it. It was some painting company or something.
I've seen 2 of those, the second of which was a firearms company.
Yeah.
They're
Hell
hocking
yeah.
their guns.
I love my Tesla and I love my guns.
These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them.
I love Tesla.
I love Tesla. Everything's computer.
Dude, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular.
Thanks for the clarification there.
I feel better about it.
They're eating the cats.
A 14-year-old girl was killed and eaten by a lion in front of her horrified friend after the animal entered their residential compound in Kenya.
Oh.
Over the line!
That is over the line.
The unnamed child was snatched by the wild cat from a residential area on the outskirts of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, before her friend called the authorities. KWS Rangers and response teams were swiftly mobilized and traced bloodstains leading to the river where the girl's body was recovered with injuries to the lower back. The lion is believed to have escaped the Nairobi National Park, which borders the residential compound from which the girl was dragged.
Boy.
So here's the red
Can't
flag.
tell you
Okay.
Something more terrifying than living next to a lion preserve.
Well, right. So see if you can spot the red flag here that I just keep going back to.
Yeah.
The killer lion remains on the loose, but a trap has been set and search teams have been deployed in the wake of the shocking attack. Additional security measures have been taken to prevent any further attacks. Nairobi National Park, just 6 miles from downtown Nairobi, is home to cheetahs, leopards, lions, buffalo, and giraffes. Yeah. The park is fenced in on 3 sides to prevent animals from roaming into Nairobi, but is open on its southern side to allow animals to migrate in and out of the park.
Huh.
While lions can come into contact with humans and harm livestock, fatal attacks of people are very rare.
Yeah.
A day earlier, a 54-year-old man was killed by an elephant around 80 miles north of Nairobi.
Well, I mean, I guess this isn't any different. I mean, I grew up in Alaska, and we have bears and moose, and
Okay, but yes, you have wild animals.
Yeah.
But this is a wild animal park?
Yeah, I mean,
it's supposed to be a refuge from wild animals in a place to see wild animals. Like, safe from them, yes?
Well,
I can't quite tell that.
This my guess is that because you said it's Nairobi National Park, right? That was the title.
So is it like camping in Yellowstone, get run over by a bison?
That seems
Nairobi National Park.
Yeah, that seems like it's probably a Yellowstone. So
But
you go
they
to
put
Yellowstone and they've got the wolves and they've got the cougars and you got the bison. And
So if you camped at Yellowstone and you got eaten by a wolf or trampled by a bison,
This is
minding
no
your
different?
business?
Yeah, this is no different.
But
They
you
just have
don't-
scarier.
But this is close to Nairobi. Like, this would be as if Portland were like 80 miles north of.
I understand
or not even
that, but it is Africa. And I think when you live in Africa, I do think, especially a place like Kenya, I think that probably is like, it's like when you live in Australia, there's scarier things there. I think this is a case of, it's a horrible thing, but where you live, it just, you live off the coast of South Africa, they got great white sharks. I think that the lion did lion things. Like, we're always shocked when animals act like animals.
But why is it fenced on 3 sides? Like, that to me is weird.
Well, I think it's fenced on 3 sides again because then the animals can only come in and out one way, and my guess is that's probably facing away from the residential area.
Well, yeah, but
and you
that
don't want
seems
you
harebrained.
don't want some gal wandering in. It's 6 miles and being like, "Hey, where am I at? Ah, lion's den."
No, you just want the lion wandering out 15 miles and eating 14-year-old girls.
I think the idea is that the lion usually doesn't wander out, but I can tell you
Usually doesn't work for me.
Yeah, why are you? Yeah, the construction of this makes no sense. Either have it open or have it closed, but having it partially open seems like a mistake.
I don't know. Again, you can't close off.
Yeah, I don't
Yellowstone.
think they
That's
can.
not the way it works.
They
Well, but
can't-
how is the 3-sided thing working then?
Well, they can't close it off.
Yes.
Because it's natural habitat.
Yes.
So they do they're trying to protect themselves from the animals
best
getting
they
a little
can.
squirrely
Yes.
as best they can.
Yes.
And so they fence it off on 3 sides. I mean, I sort of get the idea, but it just
It's a
doesn't-
half measure.
It doesn't seem foolproof enough for me.
But the
as a resident of Nairobi.
The problem is that when you're dealing with giant national when animals and humans live by each other, occasionally animals do animal things, and I guarantee you that more lions get killed in that place than humans do. And that's the other reason why you may have a fence up is you probably got some dip ass that's constantly wandered in there shooting the lions.
Well, can you not maybe extend the boundaries out? You know what I'm saying? So it has to go way around to get to Nairobi? Maybe eventually the lion's like, all right, fine, I'm not going to go to Nairobi. It's too far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all they have to do is just get on the other side of one of the side fences
Yeah.
and go north, and they're in Nairobi.
Yeah.
How about make it harder for them to get to Nairobi?
I think the point is that most animals don't want to go into cities. But something will
Tell
be wrong.
that to this
Something
lion.
will be wrong with this lion. The lion will either be sick, it'll be starving, something will have happened to the lion to make it do
You're sick of
this.
those humans taking up its space.
Yeah. I can't think of anything.
Sending a message.
I can't think of anything scarier than opening your front door and they're just like, there's a lion waiting for you. Like, you just go out to like take something out to the curb and then you just get terry-tated by a lion. Oh my God.
Not good.
No, not good at all. That's awful. Absolutely terrifying. But again, I just think when you live certain places, that's what happens. When we were in Indonesia all those years ago, my buddy had rented a scooter, and he went out and he's like, "Hey, you want to go get a whatever?" I think we were going to get a drink or something, and he's like, we got to ride on our scooter." I'm like, "This is cool. Our two big asses on the scooter." So we're getting ready to get on the scooter, and he's in front, And my man comes walking by and is like, I wouldn't do that. And we're like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I saw a snake crawl underneath your, like in the engine of the scooter. We're like, what? And the guy goes and gets a stick and starts rattling around. And sure enough, snake comes out of it. And the guy's like, yeah, you wouldn't have wanted that. And we're like, is that poisonous? He goes, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're like, what the hell, man? He goes,
What kind
they
of snake?
they like the warm engine. Dude, we could have just been on the scooter minding our own business. And then, well, luckily my buddy was in front, so I was hoping that he would get it. But yeah, you just got some poisonous viper that's just that's welcome to Indonesia.
Recently, I've seen some ones right here in the U.S. of like rattlesnakes curled up in golf cart little wells where you put your like balls and tees and stuff in the front, and they go in there. I mean, they're cold-blooded. They like to like bask and then they go cool off again, and so they'll just go hiding in golf carts, and people are going away with them on the course, and then they're slithering out on them.
Yeah, I just,
no,
that's horrible. But
no.
I just
strong. No,
I think we're spoiled because we live in Portland where there's not a lot of scary things, and like we're in the middle of suburbia. But
no.
Occasionally we get like a cougar or a bear
No.
that wanders, but if you move to the wilds, or the lady in Kenya, she was born in Kenya.
I've choked a cougar.
It happens. Yeah, the girl. I think that's kind of part of being in Kenya. I'm guessing that they're it doesn't happen very often, but I'll bet you people know, and it's definitely keep your head on a swivel sort of thing. We have we have that with bears.
I don't think it is. I think because I was just reading about the national park.
Yeah.
I mean, they go in and out of that park all the time. Like kids, classes are going to study there. It's the main. It's where everybody goes on safaris.
Feels like the type of place that people go to see this stuff, but they're not expecting.
It's
to
our,
get
it's
that.
our,
expecting
it's our
it.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, but they're not expecting. Like I think you grow up in Nairobi, you feel. Even though everything you're saying is true, it's like, there's a chance, but come on, what's gonna happen? It's like you and me saying, well, we live in Oregon, we're gonna die via earthquake.
Sure.
Well, we could, but
Again, the best
We
thing
still live here.
best thing I say is all those years I spent in Alaska, I never had any sort of close encounter with bears, and yet if you live in Alaska, you know someone that has been affected in some shape or form or has direct knowledge of someone who was on a hike, who was fishing, and they turned the wrong corner. And by the way, when you fish like on the Russian River up there, bears fish with you. It's shocking to see some dude fishing and then like across the river, like 30 feet away is some big ass brown bear, and dude's like, well, I'm fishing here too. And everyone just kind of assumes that it's going to be fine. And once in a while, it's not. And it's safe. More people get hurt by moose up there, but bears occasionally are bears. And a lot of times it's because, again, the bear is sick or it's hungry or you stumble and you piss off the wrong one.
No, I don't like it.
No, that's no good.
I don't like it.
And now they're looking for the lion, and the lion's like, I'm not surfacing. The lion knows what's up. He's like, yeah, I know what I
Went
did.
back into the park.
Yeah. How do they know it's that lion, by the way?
The lion's wiping blood off its face.
Lion just keeps quiet. He's like, he's telling all the other lions, like, just gotta lay low for a while. Just everybody, keep it quiet.
All right, you got a story from your house, you said?
Yeah, speaking of dead, well, this isn't dead people. I got dead animals. Dude, something bizarre happened over the weekend.
No way.
Yeah, and this landed in my living room, and I was not prepared for it, and we need to talk about rot boxes.
Wait, what boxes?
Rot.
Boxes.
Boxes.
So it was like a buried animal?
I learned more about dead animals this weekend, like in like an hour-long conversation that I've ever known in my entire life.
Well, that story's next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray. Pub Beer, the official beer of cheap fun.
Double Sun Power!
Now to more Wild Souk news.
Yeah. So this is Friday night. Sitting around the house. I got home about 11:30, 11:45. Getting ready to go to bed.
That's after our party. Right? Yeah.
No, so this would have been Thursday night. I checked that because it was the night before. I'd been out with a buddy of mine. So it was Thursday, not Friday. Because Friday night would have been our party. So we were out and about and got home, and my two daughters were having a conversation. They were like chatting on the FaceTime and whatnot. So I was talking to them, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to bed, and good night." So I go upstairs, and I go to holler downstairs for I believe the quote was to tell my daughter, "Let your dumb dog out." To go to the bathroom because he was walking downstairs, and I hear a man's voice go, "No." Scared the living hell out of me. I was like, "Dah!" It was my stupid son who had come home and not told me that he had come home. So he surprised me, and I was like, about gave me a heart attack. So I was like, "Oh, buddy." So I go downstairs to see him.
My son is an idiot.
I turn the corner, and there's a strange woman now in my living room. He brought his girlfriend home, who I didn't think was real.
A new girl?
A new girl.
All right.
Who I'd yet to see any photographic evidence for, and he refused to produce a photo.
Merry Christmas,
And so I believed that she was made up. No, she's real and in my living room. And I was like, "Oh, very nice to meet you. How's it going?" Talked to her for a little bit.
Kidding me?
Went to bed, woke up the next day, figured we'd have a nice little chat. So we're talking, and she seemed very nice, very sweet gal, very naturey. At one point, she emerged from the backyard. I was like, I just saw her roam in the backyard. I'm like, "What's happening out there?" And she comes back. She was over by the murder shed. And I was like, "Oh, hanging out at the murder shed, are you?" And she goes, "Hey, do you spray?" And I'm like, "No, what happens by the murder shed stays by the murder shed." Reaches down, starts picking up some weeds, and starts eating them. She's like, "Apparently we have some sort of plant lettuce growing out by the murder shed."
Whoa.
Yeah.
She's just eating your weeds? Is she a goat?
Just picking them up. And she offers some to me. I'm like, "No, we're good."
What?
We're good.
Is she like
a
super
forager?
hippie?
She's like one with nature.
She's a hippie.
Whoa.
Little. She's not. She doesn't look like a hippie, but she is nature. She has a van that she has like a van that she made and then like drives around and like is in nature with the van. She's one of those. So she is adjacent to hippie.
Very much hippie.
Eating weeds out of your backyard.
Yeah. By the murder shed, by the way. Like literally this lettuce weed or whatever is growing right on the outskirts
And it's delicious, apparently.
of the woodpile, which housed, we all remember the woodpile of death, hence the murder shed. Oh no, she's great. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is nutritious." And I was like, "Oh, this is happening." And so we start mentioning
Red flags.
Yeah. And at one point, she can also speak to crows. She talks to crows.
There's another red
Is
flag.
she a witch?
So she was my boy Eisman was telling me about how she is one with nature, and we were talking just about it, and she goes, "Yeah," she goes, "I can get crows to communicate back and forth."
Oh, come on.
At which point, dude, she fires out unexpectedly like a crow, like she speaks fluent crow. It's the damnedest thing.
Yes.
No way.
Speaks fluent
What
crow.
happened? What did she say?
Like did she start cawing?
She started cawing. It sounded exactly like a crow. I'm like, "Oh my God."
Did they speak back, and what did they say?
I'm like, "You're the most fascinating person I've ever met." Then
Oh my God.
my son tells her about Operation Best Friend and how I'm trying to befriend the raccoon.
Oh, she's like, "I can do that for you."
And I'm like, "Oh my God, can you help with Operation
Arrange a meeting, maybe?
Yeah, Best Friend." I'm like, "What are we doing? Can you put in a good word with me? Can you tell the crows to tell the raccoons that we're one?" She also she raised a possum when she was younger.
Of course she did.
Yeah, of course she did. So we start talking about the raccoon, and she mentions that she has a raccoon named Charlotte, and I'm like, "Are you effing? Or do you have a raccoon?" No, she has raccoon skulls. She has a raccoon skull that she calls Charlotte, and this is where I found out. You want to talk about red flag? And again, very much like this girl. She spent the weekend with us. She was great, but ate lettuce out of my backyard, which I wasn't growing. Speaks to crows. Has a raccoon skull that she calls Charlotte. And I asked her, "Where did you get a raccoon skull?" At which point she told me, "Well, I found a dead raccoon." and I buried it. And then I dug it up to get the skull. And I'm like, so you're a serial killer. You're doing what serial killers do. And she goes,
This is how Ordner gets your skin.
and she's like, no. She goes, I created a rot box. I'm like, what is a rot box? Apparently there's a thing now where you make a box, you poke holes in it, you put like twigs, and so like all the maggots and the bacteria, you bury it, and then you wait a determined amount of time, and then you come back and you dig it up, and then you get the bones. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, I got a squirrel I'm working on right now. Like, what do you mean? She has a dead squirrel right now buried, waiting to be dug up and brought out.
Your son's about to die.
She also apparently has a bat somehow. And then, so now I'm fascinated. I'm asking a million questions.
Eisenman. Sorry, buddy.
She also has a bat, but she hasn't buried the bat yet. The bat's just in the garage. Like, what do you mean the bat's in the garage? I'm like, it's living. No, it's dead. And she goes, yeah, with little ones like that, it's more like a mummified bat. She's like, I'll bury that later. And then she starts telling about the time that she was at the beach and she found a seal and she ripped its jaw off. Dead seal.
RFK?
Dead seal on the beach.
Is that what he did with a whale?
I like that.
Wandered over.
Point Buckley.
Because she was telling me about how she has seal teeth. And I'm like, where do you get seal teeth? And she looks right at me and is
From
like,
a seal jaw, dummy.
Idiot. Dude.
Where else?
You, listen. Okay, if this weren't your son's girlfriend, whom you initially have to support, I mean, I know what you're going through right now. Because you know, when it's your kids and who they choose to date, you have an open mind and you're like, okay, I'm sure they're wonderful. I support my son. If this were anybody but your son's girlfriend, you would think she's a lunatic, dude.
Yeah, what if it was your daughter's boyfriend?
Right.
Like, this would not be
You
okay.
would, yes, that's an even better question. If this were your daughter's boyfriend, Oren's boyfriend, you would murder him and take his bones in a, what is this, what'd you call it?
Rot box.
You'd put him in a rot box.
The best is that I was like, how long does it take, by the way, to rot an animal? And she's like, well, it depends on the size. Little ones you can just bury, but big ones you got to make a rot box. And it really depends on how long. And I'm like, is it a trial and error? I think it goes, yeah, sometimes you dig it up and it's not quite there, so you rebury it. And I was like, oh my God. And then the seal jaw was the one that I was like, hold on.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Ask away, because I had a million questions.
1, where did she get the interest in all of this? And 2, where did she procure, like, the skills and the know-how? Like, did she just find all of this on internet, or was she like an Eagle Scout or something?
Can I answer both of these?
Yeah.
1, she's a murderer. 2, YouTube.
I think because I did ask, and I just got the general sense that she has just always been into nature. She likes the woods.
Dead nature.
She wants dead nature.
Yeah,
it gets better, because not only did she rip the seal one was the one that I was having a hard time processing the ripping the jaw off the seal. To which point she had to produce photos, because I'm like, I'm going to need to see like photos of this.
Did she use a tool, or was this a barehanded?
No, it's bare
affair?
his bare hand.
Oh my God.
And then she was like, yeah, I got some vertebrae too. I'm like, predator stuff? She's got seal vertebrae and
Also,
seal.
At no point are you worried about like dead animal bacteria or anything? You're just like,
and what is Tiny Y saying when all this is?
He's like, yeah.
He's like, hot, huh, Dad?
I did ask at one point.
See the BTJ do that.
I was like, oh, believe me, BTJ was in the kitchen making up dinner. I'll tell you right now, BTJ was just.
She should.
There was a lot of just silence coming from the other room, with an occasional like
a glance.
Because I said, so you're just walking the beach and you seal the decomposing seal. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you have gloves? And she goes, no, I didn't have gloves. So I'm like, you just raw dog that. And she goes, yeah. I'm like, so you just like kind of put your foot? And she goes, yeah, I mean, it's mostly decayed. But she goes, there was some flesh. Don't worry. I also found out that once you get the animal like ripped apart, you soak it in hydrogen peroxide.
I did know that.
Yeah. So this is going to be potentially the woman who births your grandchildren.
Yes.
Or some of them.
and maybe murders someone else's grandchild. I don't know. So basically what I've gathered is we have a dead raccoon. We have a dead raccoon named Charlotte. There's a squirrel that she's working on right now. There's a rabbit that we have. That's been harvested. We got the seal. We got seal, jaw, teeth, and vertebrae. And a bat that may or may not eventually get buried. And I was like, what do your parents think about this? She goes, oh, well, I don't know. They're kind of supportive. She goes, one time I brought a bird in and my dad got mad because it kind of stunk up the garage. Poor Bruce.
So what are her redeeming qualities?
She was great. She was sweet. She was very nice. She just, like, everything about her was great. And then except the fact that she buries animals and then waits for them to rot and then takes their bones and makes jewelry out of them. And I was like, what? Yeah, because I was like, what do you do? And she's like, I don't know. It's like, sometimes I make jewelry. Other time I just kind of have them. So if I walked into your room right now, I would see like a raccoon skull. She was like, yeah, that's Charlotte. I'm like, well, I said my mom's name is Charlotte.
What if I tell you that she is Jody Allen, only 23 years old, or however old?
Well, I say.
So she's going to be a billionaire.
Yes.
But she's also cuckoo and may sexually harass some men, including your son.
Yeah, I think that's just...
Are you taking that?
I think you take it. I think you roll the dice.
I think you are, too.
You roll the dice and go with it. The best part is, like, stone-faced, like, she had, like, that nothing was weird about this at all. There's multiple times I was like, yeah, this is like, this is serial killer behavior. And she's like...
She's like, I'm not denying that.
No, at no point did she deny it. At no point did she deny that it was weird.
What if she said at a later? I'll tell you about the bodies later. I'll tell you about the humans.
I was kind of afraid to ask. I'm like, how big of a rot box and how long do you need humans?
I don't know you well enough. You're an awful big guy. I'm gonna need a big rot box.
If she comes across a dead human body in the woods, is she calling the authorities or is she starting an experiment?
I think maybe if she did say that she likes kind of hands and feet. It's like,
oh, dude.
It's like, what is happening right now?
What's her field of study? Is she gonna like plan to be in a morgue or something?
No,
or?
she's like a biology major. She's like pre-med.
Okay.
She's super smart.
What's her name?
Mia. Super smart. By the way,
nationality?
White.
Okay.
White.
Okay.
Yeah. Think like she kind of looks like Poison Ivy, like she's a Batman villain. And she ate murder shed lettuce. And I was I almost said something. I was like, you might want to look underneath that wood pile because I'll tell you what, over the years, stuff happens in that wood pile. I was kind of terrified, though, that she would start moving pieces of wood to see what's happening in the yard. At one with nature.
Well, who needs a cat?
I've got her.
When you've got her?
Yeah.
They're eating the cats.
She'll take care of your rodents?
Oh, yeah. She likes rats, by the way.
Is she a redhead?
Yes. Yes. And
Dude.
and she did point out that she liked rats, and I was like, huh? I was like, dude, rats? And she's like, yeah. I was like, what about them? And then she went on a big, long thing about how she loves rats. Something happens to my son.
There's one place we're checking first.
This is probably not the time to ask this question.
Ask away.
But, I mean, I know the redhead thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, they're all crazy.
Yeah.
That's a stereotype. Mm-hmm. That we should not perpetuate that stereotype.
Yeah.
But isn't there something to, like, the genetics of a redhead that you kind of got to watch out? Like, am I wrong?
She didn't move around a lot as a kid, too. Is there a possibility that she is running from a series of murders? She's like all over the map.
She's like beating other children and stealing their teeth, and they're like, you got to move towns.
I don't know, bro. I have never been worried about you or your kids ever until right now. I'm scared. Not my monkey, not my circus.
No.
But I'm a little worried about this.
I was joking that one of the guys that I'm going to Italy with, he's got a piece of property up in the Okanagan Highlands, and he's always shooting coyotes up there. And I mentioned to her, I was like, hey, you want a dead coyote? Probably get you as many coyotes as you can. Halfway joking. No, she was all about it. She's like, yeah.
I'd love one. Mr. Sukanik, thank you.
Yes.
I won't kill you now.
That was my way of brokering some sort of deal to not harm anyone in my family.
Keep offering me a sacrifice of nature, and your son will live.
Caw-caw, caw-caw. I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah,
she speaks to crows.
I already forgot about the bird communication.
dude.
That's like number 7 on the red flag list.
Dude, the crow, I'm telling you, that was the most spot on. And when I was like, are you seeing, James was like, or Eisman was like, dude, you should hear it, Dad. Like, they answer. And then she went on, she goes, yeah, she goes, if it's in like a lot of like busy areas and they can see me, they won't. But like, if I'm out in nature, they will come see that it's me, and then sometimes they lose interest and fly away. But she's like, they answer. She speaks crow.
Rank the most concerning to least concerning: speaking or communicating with birds, eating weeds out of your yard, seal jaw.
Dude, seal jaw. It's the seal jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seal jaw.
Yeah.
You found a dead seal and you thought to yourself, what the hell? I'll rip its jaw.
Rip the jaw off.
Or don't forget the vertebrae.
But how dead was the seal? Like,
it was dead.
So it was just a carcass? Just the bones?
The deader it is, the grosser it gets.
It was,
so
originally I was picturing like a fully intact seal. She did show me photos. It was very, very decomposed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, but she did have to put the foot, because I was like, she goes, no, I had to put my foot on the head.
You gotta unhinge the jaw.
Yeah, pull.
But that makes it a little better.
Yes.
Because she didn't have to do any
No. I was
surgery.
I was thinking originally like you had to like
cut out the.
No, it was mostly.
Because I was thinking, there's really, if you had a seal. Okay, so if you walked by a seal.
Yeah.
And a dead seal, and you're like, I have to take part of that seal.
Yeah.
What are you even taking? Like, what can you even get?
Apparently the jaw.
Without a knife. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, what are you.
No, this was like.
So it had to have been decomposed.
It was decomposed. You could see it. You could see the flipper and everything, but it was like a lot of the meat it had been wasted away.
That jaw was calling to her. She saw it sitting right there. She's like, there we go.
Yes!
Finally. Yes! It's her Super Bowl. She's like, I got.
That was her, because I did ask. She was like, oh yeah, that was the all-time fine.
Is that legal?
Desecration of a seal
Can you
corpse?
do that?
That I don't know.
Did she just admit to a crime?
She may not be a real person. I don't know. Is there a limitation there? Couldn't tell you.
Well, I tell you, that's
Maybe
wild.
the crows or the seagulls told her where to find the seal. You want a bone necklace?
Does she communicate with any other animals, or is it just crows?
No. I think she definitely is. She has a way with animals. You can tell.
But does she speak their languages, or is
I
she
don't know
only
if she
fluent in crow?
speaks the language, but she speaks crow, and that is spot on.
We should have her in.
She
I
was
agree.
the most interesting person that any one of my kids has ever brought home.
Be careful, dude. All right, well, I don't know how we follow that up.
Yeah.
Here's Buck.
This is Draft Week on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, no seal jaws or rot boxes tonight, but we do have some action on the playoff hardwood and the playoff ice. The Pistons right now trying to close out Game 2 in Madison Square Garden. They're up by 9 with about 8 minutes to play. It's 84-75. Cade Cunningham with a big night for Detroit, 29 points, 9 boards. They're looking to even the series before heading back to Motown. Coming up in the late game, it's the Clippers visiting Nuggets. Clippers trying to redeem themselves after blowing a big lead in Game 1. They're a 1.5-point road favorite tonight. They'll tip it off at 7 on TNT. Right now on the ice, a couple games going on. One of them just about to wrap up. The Montreal Canadiens have cut the deficit in half against the Capitals. It's now 2-1 in favor of Washington with about 5 minutes to go in the third period. Meanwhile, they're in the third period in Winnipeg as well. The President's Trophy winning Jets up 2-1 on the Blues. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Next thing you know, it's possible that you have a female Jeffrey Dahmer in your living room.
And seriously, if that's a dude,
yeah. If you want to know,
homeboy, seriously, think about this: what you would have done and said if that were Oren's new boyfriend.
He would have been thrown out of the house.
I mean,
there's no. Well, first of all, it never would have happened because if you're a guy and you're into that, you are single forever. By the way, I understand that women have a lot of challenges, right? It's a male-dominated world. We all understand that. But, and here's a big old but.
Oh boy.
Women can get away with 1,000 times more weird things than men could ever. Because she is, by the way, when she left the house, BTJ turns to me and goes, "So what'd you think?" I said, "Best one he's brought home so far."
Girl, you something else.
There's no way a male could have ever gotten away with that, let alone even gotten a girl.
Well, I just think for girls, in this particular case, it's not as sinister.
No.
Because she's female.
Yes.
Now, if this were a boy,
straight to jail.
It's not innocent.
You imagine if you were a guy and you met a girl and you've been dating a week or two, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a raccoon buried in the yard. I gotta go dig it up," and you're like, "What? Oh, well, nothing weird. I just want the head." No.
Well, you know what? If you're a guy,
you're a loser.
If you're a girl,
it's actually pretty neat.
It's
the Alonzo Morning meme.
I'm just saying there are giant advantages to being female, and I think that the ability to dig up dead animals and not have it be serial killer behavior is one of them.
It's a perk.
You can't be a guy walking along the beach, see a dead seal, and think and out loud be like, "I'm gonna rip that jaw off," and then take its teeth and make jewelry out of it. And yet, here we are.
Well, I can't follow. My next story is about Taliban penis, and that
rot boxes with Taliban penis.
That should have alarmed all of you,
probably.
But I'm not going to present it today as it just doesn't belong in this spot.
No.
So
Scooby-Doo ghost penis mystery. And someone
we'll have that tomorrow.
And someone did say this is our one material, but in reference to the Pope dying, I didn't feel it I was going to bring this up earlier, but the Pope dying kind of took the lead, and I didn't know how to follow dead Pope with my son may or may not be dating a serial killer.
No, this is perfect club material.
You know.
I think someone earlier was alarmed that you didn't bring this to us on Friday, even though we only had an hour.
Yeah.
You said this was Thursday?
Yeah, but I didn't find this out. You know, I didn't get deep into this until the weekend.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's only an hour. Like, this is, you know.
So you first met her on Thursday, but then you
this was like was just the pleasantries of, hey, nice to meet you.
You didn't have all of the seal jaw ripping details.
She didn't launch in with, by the way, I ripped the jaws off of dead seals.
She warmed you up first.
Had to lean into caca.
Oh, yeah, she was eating your backyard first.
Yeah, that, you know.
Bro.
some murder shed lettuce.
Bro. And I always thought it would be the BTJ that would murder you.
Not so fast.
There's always a dark horse.
Always.
Bodies fall out of hearses. All right, we'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube, Twitch, and now Window Nation brings you the window into the Fan. On-demand YouTube video shorts with your favorite fan shows and hosts. The window into the Fan is brought to you by Window Nation. Call 866-90...